Hello, everyone, and welcome back to USCL Stage 2. We have another match for you. We got one more. There's only two games today. We just saw The Last Dance take their revenge match against H2O, and now we've got another grudge match, Favelas versus Oblation. This is going to be the third time that these two teams have played each other in the same season. So we want to look at the bracket, figure out how the hell we actually got to this point in, I believe this is Group B. I don't even know what group we're on. Yeah, all right.
Okay, Group B.
Rent Free had beaten the Favelas in the winter final, so Rent Free will go up against Beast Coast to decide who gets to face Tempo Storm. Oblation sent Bracket Blessed down to relegations. Now we find ourselves in the third place game. The winner of this will take a second in the group and fight for the third place spot overall. Loser will take third place in the group and they'll fight for fifth, sixth.
Yeah, and once again, I mean, you're talking about how it was a revenge match between The Last Dance and Ape. It's a revenge match once again from the first round. I mean, you had the Favelas and Oblation playing each other once again. And looking at the last match that they played, and I watched some of the footage back of it, Oblation is going to need to pull out something really, really big here, I feel like, if they want to go up against the Favelas. I mean, they've shown that they are a very, very strong team and making it all the way to the winners finals and putting it up 2-1 up against Rent Free. So they're going to have to put up much of a fight here if they want to beat them.
Especially, too, because both times they've played before, they were both victories for the Favelas. The very first time in Stage 1 was for the 5th, 6th place match, and it was a 2-1 victory for the Favelas. It was a really, really close game. And then the second time around, first play day of Stage 2, not so close. It was a 2-0 instead of Favelas. Map 1 went to OT. Map 2 was a bit more of a trouncing. Now, we want to look at the rosters that will be playing tonight. First up is the Favelas. So everyone knows these guys at this point. It's Jolton, Diaz Lucas, Abanai, Kino, and Carnage B. And if there's one person that the Oblation should be scared of, if there's one person that can rival Inrio on the fragging front, it's Jolton.
Absolutely.
He's currently the highest rated player on the Favelas. In fact, he is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's the 6th highest rated player in USCL right now. 48 and 33, 12 and 5 on entry. So Inrio, he's not far behind, but Jolton still leads him, and Kino is nipping at Inrio's heels.
Yeah. I mean, you and I have seen Oblation from the very beginning, and speaking of them, let's go ahead and take a look at their roster. Inrio, Giddy, Guy on a Bear, Razor, and Vivid. I mean, we've seen this team since the very beginning, back down in Tier 3. Gosh, I don't even know how long ago it's been now. But, I mean, they've shown that they deserve to be on this level. But, I mean, going up against a team as stacked as the Favelas, it's going to be difficult for them. But I mean, seeing this roster, I mean, just knowing how well that they performed in the past, and I think that the Favelas just have their number right now. But I'm willing to give it a chance and see if Oblation, after playing them during the first play day, they're able to turn things around and push things in their favor.
Yeah, we'll see if third time's the charm for the Oblation. Again, Favelas have been a very, very aggressive roster. Oblation has been trying to work around their roles in a similar sense. I know Vivid's kind of hard support, and then the rest of the Oblation are all kind of on flex roles. It's a very similar thing for the Favelas. If we want to take a look at where we'll be playing tonight, both matches previously, they played both Clubhouse and Oregon. Are we going to go 3 for 3? We'll have Oregon a third time, Clubhouse being banned by Oblation, so we'll be heading to Consulate first. Yeah. That's Oblation's pick. Oblation, I know in the past, have kind of shied away from the more frag-heavy maps, so Consulate being first is definitely interesting. Oregon, of course, we're going to get again, which I think Favelas won both times they've played.
Yeah.
Villa will be our decider.
Yeah, Villa, I feel like, is an interesting one. I think it was a smart play from Oblation to get rid of Clubhouse, although I'm not entirely sure why Favelas, I mean, you were saying how aggressive a roster they are. Why'd they pull away from Coastline and leave it up to Villa? And I think that's an interesting decision for me. And if we go that far, I'd like to see how it plays out. Definitely.
I think there's a lot of teams now, even if they're aggro, they'll still kind of play into the shield meta a little bit. Coastline is just falling out of favor a lot. People don't like playing it because it's really, really, really loose. You can just kind of monkey out. There's not too much variance when it comes to like strategy. Most of the variance just comes from winning and losing gunfights. On Villa, Villa's a lot more structured. There's still some cool stuff on Villa, depending on what you do. So it's more of a comfort thing. A lot of teams aren't comfortable on Coastline anymore, and a lot of teams aren't comfortable on Consulate. Consulate kind of falling in a little bit of the same, a little by the wayside for the same reason as Coastline. So I don't know. I'm really curious as to why Oblation picked that, especially over maps like Cafe and Club. I mean, sure they've lost to Favela a bunch of times on Club, but every time they've played, it's been fairly close. Whereas
Yeah.
on Oregon went to OT the first time. I think it was 8-6 Favelas, and then and the second time Favelas won it like it was like 7-3, 7-2 or something. It was pretty dominant.
Yeah, and I think pulling Cafe out of the mix for Oblation and switching over to more of an off map like Consulate is, I think it's definitely an interesting pick. Think especially with the Favela starting on defense, I feel like Oblation is going to have to they're gonna have to take things slow. They're going to have to really, really drone things out because I mean I'm gonna fall back on it again. The Favelas is a very aggressive roster, and on a map like Consulate, if you try to match their aggression, 9 times out of 10 it's not going to work out, and you're just going to fall right into their hands because there's so many good setups that you can make on Consulate defensively that will counter aggression from the attacking side, that will just slow them down, will just bog them down if they try to go for a pure aggression sort of attack. So that's one of the things I'm going to be looking for from Oblation. And as you said, the pick of Oregon has been kind of iffy for the Favelas in the past, but I think they know that they have a good record against Oblation with it. I mean, they've beaten them multiple times on it. So I think that's probably just more of a solid pick from Favelas. I'll go back to it again. Villa feels like an interesting pick to me. Or leaving it as the decider rather than something like Clubhouse or Coastline, both of those being available. I can understand Oblation maybe wanting to take that away from the Favelas, but again, I'm still not really understanding the Coastline ban.
So looking at the past records of these two teams, like so far in just this stage, not stage 1, just this stage. When Favelas and Oblation played last, Villa was actually the decider up there as well. Only it was a 2-0 for Favelas, so we didn't actually need it. They actually 7-2'd Oblation on Oregon, in which case, Oregon is still up. Oblation throttled Bracket Blessed. It was 7-3 on Coastline as well. That might have something to do with it, but of course, Bracket Blessed, no hate to them. They were not the strongest team in this stage. Consulate, the fact that Favelas banned out Consulate, so in stage 1, Favelas lost Theme Park to Oblation. Map 2 was Theme Park, and I think it was 7-1 or 7-2. It was really dominant from Oblation. The other 2 maps that Favelas won were really close. Oblation's map of Theme Park was really dominant. On the other hand, more recently, Favelas lost to Rent Free on Consulate 7-2, which is just as bad. So they have to choose now, okay, do we ban Theme Park? Do we ban Consulate? Because I guarantee Oblation would have picked that one or the other. And the fact that Oblation banned Clubhouse, because not only have Oblation lost every Clubhouse to Favelas, Favelas also beat Rent Free on Clubhouse. That was Favelas' 1 map win. Favelas banning out Coastline, they lost to Rent Free 7-1, even more dominantly than Consulate. So the map bans, to me, at least just looking at the past records like that from a pure statistical standpoint, definitely makes sense. I think it may. So I think it's going to be Oblation take Consulate, Favelas take Oregon. Map 3 is definitely going to be the more interesting one. I think Favelas might have the upper hand because so far what we've seen between these two teams is that Oblation thrives a little bit more on the less explored Theme Park and the more loose Consulate and Coastline, where the Favelas struggle, but the Favelas are more ingrained in the strat heavy maps, Clubhouse, Oregon, and Villa kind of falls into that same category. So I'm not sure. But we're just at this point we're waiting for the teams to finish, matriculating into the lobby.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll go ahead. I mean, we did this last time we were on a cast together for the last Canadian play day. Um, I think I'm gonna go ahead and give my prediction
Okay.
for this game. I think overall, I think the Favelas come out on top in this one.
Mm,
Um, I think we do see all three maps.
yeah.
But I think this is a 2-1 in favor of the Favelas, despite them just beating the crap out of them during Playday 1. Um, I still think that they're going to put up a really really good fight. Oblation is, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough, and I think
You
the
know,
Favelas have just enough of an edge to push them over.
so I put out a poll before on Twitter
Mm-hmm.
about what people who they think is going to take it and what score line they're going to take it at. 32.8% of people, there's actually a tie between Favelas winning 2-1 and Oblation winning 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
So I was gonna go off of whatever the community said, but you left me with a freaking tie. What am I supposed to do with that? I think personally, honestly, here you take Favelas, I'll take Oblation because
Mm-hmm.
Oblation, obviously, this is gonna go to the third map. I have not seen Favelas play Villa.
Mm-hmm.
Historically, Oblation have been a really, really good Villa team.
Mm-hmm.
At least back in like quals and in T3. Of course, Favelas is not a T3 team,
Yeah.
but Oblation kind of started their really really dominant streak on maps like
Mm-hmm.
Villa. That's Villa and club. So I think just from my past experience with them, I'm gonna give Oblation the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. It's definitely gonna be a cool series. Every series so far between them has been super exciting. So
Yeah.
hopefully this one does not disappoint.
Yeah. I mean, I think even despite the fact that I had the Favelas winning, I think we're going to get a very very entertaining series here, because even in the 2-0 where the Favelas ended up winning, I mean, the first map went to nearly full overtime. When we were a
Oh,
single round away from it. I mean, it was more of a trounce second map, like you said, but it's been a 2-1 before. So I think regardless, we're going to get an entertaining match. It's just I think I can, seeing both of our sides of it, I think this is again a very up in the air match. But
I uh
yeah.
I have a piece of info for everyone that might change a lot of people's minds on who's going to take this game. Jolton just DM'd me on Twitter and said, just as a heads up, Ab and I had something come up, some kind of emergency, so they actually have a sub. They have Pred subbing in. So Favelas are going to be playing, maybe not at full strength. They'll be playing
Hmm.
with a sub. So we'll see if maybe this is, maybe that's the edge that Oblation needs to try and take this series. Of course, there is no, the loser isn't going to get relegated and the winner can't make it to Pro League. So this game is really just for prize money. It's still an important game, more money, what the hell.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But Favela's not going to be at full strength. Abinai is a pretty integral part of their team. He's usually, Wamai, Jaeger,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes Zof, Maverick, those kind of roles. So we'll see
I
how they
do
fare.
not
Ace
know
will be the
anything
first
about this
ban though.
game at
So
all. I just use
a
the
hard breacher that has definitely come into the meta on consulate. We're not going to be
Absolutely.
seeing him. No smokes as well, so no easy smoke garage plant second attacker will be Nomad.
Yeah. I
Hey,
think.
Thatcher's.
Yeah, and I think talking about them getting the edge, I think thinking of those roles that Abinai is on, I think Pred will. I think Pred should have a pretty easy time hopping into those roles. It's nothing. It's nothing incredibly complicated. So I think if there's any person that you would want to really drop out, I would think it's probably that player that fills those roles. But Maestro going to be our first defender banned out, going to take away some of that garage plant deniability that you usually have, and just general plant deniability. And Wamai going to be the band coming out from the Favelas, and that is going to be it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So we're probably going to see a lot of Jaeger, or we're just going to see nades all over the place.
Yeah, I would imagine Jaeger every round. So they're taking out. So on the defense, you've taken out two of the utility soak operators. You've taken out Maestro, who's got the bulletproof bubbles, and you've taken out Wamai, who's got the discs to try and deny the projectiles. On the attack, you only take out one hard breacher, and you take out Nomad. So you take out the flank watch. You have taken out nothing that could deny the utility soak, or or get through the utility soak. So there's Thatcher's still up, Maverick's still up, Capitão's still up, with which Razor is going to take immediately. Bear also going to be playing Buck instead of Sledge. Interestingly enough, the attackers are going to be going into this garage attack with 0 frag grenades. Sure, they still have destructibility on the side of the Zofia. That's going to be about it. We still got to deal with the shield on the smoke and the 3 Malusis from Kino.
Bomb located by attackers.
Yeah, I mean, this is... I really think it's interesting. I mean, that Thatcher is up. We aren't seeing him played at all. We're seeing an IQ instead, and I mean, even with his recent nerf, I say recent, I mean, it was about a season ago now, he's still incredibly powerful. It's why you see him banned out so many times, and he would really have a big impact. I mean, you've got Mute, you've got Jaeger, you've got those Malusis, which can be so very oppressive if you don't deal with them in the proper way, and they just don't really have any solid way of getting rid of them besides Giddy. Giddy is the only way they have to get rid of gadgets like that.
Yeah.
And he can only take care of 2 of them, and not all of them. They don't have a sledge, they don't have any nades at all. All they have is flashes. I mean, it's definitely an interesting lineup from Oblation here, but I'm definitely willing to give it some time to play out.
Yeah, and Pred coming in is going to be picking up Smoke. Smoke, typically Kino's role. Kino is, I think, through the season so far, is an Ash Smoke main. That's interesting. Kino instead flexing onto the Malusi. So a lot of fragging power. I know Kino does also play a lot of Val because he is, I believe he's from Brazil. Brazilians love their Val, and he is a absolute terror on it. Oblation are going to start with that top-down take, starting in console office. Of course, there are roamers on the side of Favelas. There's 2 men upstairs. I believe it is the Malusi and the Jaeger. So Diaz Lucas and Kino both duoing, trying to keep the attackers at bay for as long as possible. The Buck will swing in, but for now, he is alone with maybe only drones to support him. He will spot the Malusi. Peek out just for a second over by Soda Machine. He's got the Capitão watching yellow, making sure no one can flank. So far, Oblation with all their angles on lock, but they've still got to try and push in and clear these guys over an admin, and we're already a minute and a half down.
Yeah, they've taken quite a bit of time here to execute this top floor take, and even so, they're gonna have to make a lot of headway if they want to push onto the side here. They're already going to try and deal with the person in bathroom. That's going to be Jolton taking quite a few shots from Guy in a Bear. Upstairs, C4 flies out. It will not do anything. And unfortunately, that will be a wasted C4 with only 1 left on the board in the hands of Carnage. Giddy here trying to make entry into that bathroom as well, forcing him off there. And it looks like they will go ahead and start making some more vertical presence in Piano.
So they have dealt with Jolton, but Kino fragging Razor, Inrio with the trade, but you've taken out Capitão. Malusi has already done her duty. You know, her bulletproof gadgets are already down. She doesn't need to be alive for it, but Razor has now lost smokes on the Capitão and fireballs, which are good for pushing people out of little itty-bitty corners, of which there are a lot inside of Garage. But Giddy with another frag. Carnage B goes down, and Oblation will take the man advantage, but the mirror windows are still up. It's probably going to be up to Guy and a Bear to deal with them from above as Giddy starts to move down yellow. All of the defenders are currently in either cafeteria or security. There is no one actually inside of Garage, but hitting the prone. Jolton runs up on White Van. He'll deny the plant. He's at least traded out, but still, 15 seconds left. Inrio is going to be the next to try and plant. Diaz Lucas with a frag on Guy and a Bear. That'll stop Inrio. Inrio gets the trade into 1v2. All to Pred. He's got 1 gas nade remaining. Is he just going to swing around and deny? He will. There's no cover from Giddy. He was too far away. 1 second left. It's 0-0, and he can't hit the shots in time. Favelas with round number 1 as Oblation fail to protect their planter.
Already the sub is starting to show his value here. Pred perfectly timing that swing with the SMG-11 there. I mean, that could not have been any more perfect. I mean, there was just no presence being held on those yellow stairs for Oblation, and he read that and played into it perfectly, and they're going to come away with a round because of that. And if you're Oblation, you just gotta take it in stride and move on.
Yeah, the way Favelas countered that out was really well done. It was Inrio. What was it? Inrio, Giddy, and Bear, I think, were the last 3 alive. Inrio unfortunately could not cover the white van flank because Jolton sprinted into the rotate, proned immediately, and got the angle under the white van. There's really no denial for him. He did get traded out, yes, but Giddy felt that, after the white van was denied, he had to rotate off of yellow because he couldn't deny if someone did that again from the defense. So he rotates to garage door to try and cover white van, and at that moment, that's when Pred strikes. So perfect timing from the smoke player. And he's going to swap on Amira. So Favelas with a little bit of a shakeup. Carnage B now on the pulse. DS Lucas off the Jaeger, onto the Vigil. Jaeger, not a big operator. Probably one of the only sites in the entire game in which Jaeger just isn't really all that necessary on the split site. Kino on the Valkyrie now. Of course, Kino loves his Valkyrie. And Jolton will now be on the Melusi. So plenty of C4 to go around. Carnage B, of course, with the Pulse Shotgun as well. Really, again, the only site where we really see Pulse Shotgun a lot. And Oblation is really going to be down to... I think a lot of it is going to fall to Inrio to try and shove the pulse off the heartbeat sensor. A lot of it, you can even use Giddy, like with the stuns, to stop the C4 animation as well. So we'll see if Favelas are able to do their minefield from below.
Yeah, they've only got 4 C4s on the board. That's almost as many as they can bring. And yeah, like you said, we'll see if they'll be able to make use of that minefield. I mean, I think the consistent thing so far, as I say that, I'm just going to eat my words before they even come out of my mouth, because Kino will get a kill on the guy on a bear. That is your buck down and out within the first 30 seconds of the round. It's
also an operator that can be definitely used inside of tellers to shoot down on the floor, deny the pulse, deny the defenders exposing themselves to throw said C4s, and that's another kill. Kino with a double, killing Vivid. Now no more admin hatch going to be open. The attackers can no longer get that easy sightline down into tellers for cover. Of course, Razor does have the hard breach charge. It's going to take significantly longer to open that up, and Favela is already leading by 2 men.
Yeah, and only expending 1 C4. Actually, no, they've expended 2 C4s. I stand corrected. But, I mean, 2 C4s off the board. There's still 3 players up. They can still do plenty of work with this. I mean, it's going to make things very, very difficult for Oblation here, losing those utility operators so early on. And there's Inrio going to take quite a bit of damage from Kino. And Giddy as well going to take some damage, and it looks like he doesn't even know where it's coming from.
He just kept walking. What? And that's going to leave Kino still in Projector, dealing even more damage to Razor. Literally everyone on the attack now very lit up. Finally, Kino will be stopped. Inrio actually getting 2 as Jolton lines up with Kino. However, there's the Melusi, that is the Valkyrie. Gadget's already out, and those were the only 2 defenders who had expended their C4s. So Pred and Carnage B still have them. The Vigil, in fact, still upstairs. DS Lucas now distracting the attackers. Less than a minute left. With the guns that you've got on the defense, Mira maybe 2 shots onto everyone. DS Lucas maybe just 1. Carnage B with a shotgun from below could definitely cause a lot of damage. Razor will successfully pinch DS Lucas, so Oblation will retake the man advantage. But now going into, essentially what is the minefield, with all 3 of your players very low HP, this is not the situation you want to be in. If I were the Oblation, I might just go for the Gambit down on site and try and deny the players directly by just challenging them. They might not be able to get this plant off, again, with such low HP, and here's the Pulse Scanner coming out from Carnage B, trying to find where Inrio is going to eventually be getting that plant down, and instead, Inrio will drop the diffuser, maybe handing it off to Giddy, as now Pred and Carnage B are both inside the storage room, grouped up, playing for that C4. It's ripped, it goes out, and it does not find anyone. In fact, it blows himself up? I don't know how that happened. The C4 won't deny anyone else either, and Giddy will finish off the round. I
have no idea how that managed to kill him. That is honestly...
Carnage B doesn't even know.
Wow. That is... absolutely
no sense.
Incredible how that happened. I'm guessing it's that new fragmentation system that they've been talking about that they added, but even so, that's just wow. Never seen that happen before, but that will be the linchpin in what gives Oblation their first round in this matchup, and already tying things up.
That made no sense to me. First of all right, Kino, great opening. Great job by Kino. He eventually gets traded out by Inrio. Jolton lines up, and that's really unfortunate. And DS Lucas stays on the top floor because he's got no way out. His support's dead. He's locked in admin. He can't go printer because he'll have to challenge a player. He can't go by front desk because he'll have to challenge 2. I mean, at that point, I think if you're DS Lucas, you might as well take the fight because everyone is so lit up. But instead, he played passive. He got pinched, and that's it. 3v2. Favela's stuck downstairs. I think they jumped the gun. They jumped the gun. Carnage B didn't actually see any heartbeats by the time he ripped that C4, and Pred had no info to go off of. He just had to rip it up and try, and as he did, Giddy went down the stairs. So excellent coverage by Oblation towards the end of that round. A good recovery. And an unfortunate suicide from Carnage B. So we'll tie up, and we'll swap on the lobby.
Yeah, I mean, that's really just very, very unfortunate on the side of the Favelas now, but once again, it looks like they're going for a slight minefield again, as they've got 3 C4s now, 1 less, but still can be just as effective there, as DS Lucas and Pred will be the only ones not bringing them, but bringing the Jaeger and the Doc as well, probably looking to get pretty aggressive, if I were to guess, because those are the 2 hops that you would want to get aggressive on, but so far it looks like they're trying to hold down yellow stairs pretty heavily, as Kino is looking to take a very aggressive stance on this door here, but will not see anyone. We'll go ahead and rotate back up with Carnage.
Yeah, Kino, of course, you know, if there's anyone who's going to be going for something like that, it's probably Kino. Kino's a name that's probably not going to leave my mouth this entire match. Him and Jolton have been so far the absolute star performers of Favelas. Carnage B also having some great moments himself, as well as DS Lucas, but they'll be going for the average, very normal top floor roam, and Oblation will be tasked with clearing them out. Already a drone coming in, Z-pinging the man inside of the cubby, and DS Lucas will take a lot of damage from behind the wall. DS Lucas will retreat, no longer wanting to stay in console and fighting the demon that is Inrio's. Kino will be down on the floor. He's recoverable. He does have Carnage B right next to him, so Kino might just be rezzed in a second. Or maybe not. There we go. Oh, he was actually docked. All right, so good use of the dock utility. But in the meantime, Guy will cut Jolton off on the rotate. So an opening frag for the first time this game going in the favor of Oblation. Now Kino, not necessarily worse for where he's still at 75, but DS Lucas definitely lit. And a little bit of the top floor hold just peeled off.
Yeah, it's definitely going to hurt the Favelas' chances, but with 1:15 seconds left, and with almost no members of Oblation inside of the building, they've got a lot of work they need to do. Giddy's going to be the first one to make the entry here, is going to make a little bit of a read there onto copier window, but is not going to find the head of Pred, who's sitting in there waiting very, very patiently.
Oblation are taking a lot of time to clear out these roams in which the defenders are staying pretty static, but as I say that, Kino is taken out by Bear. Bear now with 2 kills on the round. His own 2K opening to respond to Kino's last time. Pred getting a little bit aggressive. Sorry, that's not Pred. That's DS Lucas getting a little bit aggressive, and he'll walk right into the scope of Giddy. Giddy gets the easiest frag of his life.
Yeah.
Pred and Carnage B in a 2 versus 4. 30 seconds left. Still on the spiral repel is Bear. Bear has gotten 3 kills from rappelling on a single window. Now, just like that, it's down to Pred. It's a 1 versus 5 ace clutch situation. He doesn't even know where the plant is going down. It's by front door. He'll take out the cover of Inrio, but can't deny the plant. There's a player on the hatch, and that'll be who gets the final kill. Giddy rounding things out. 3 for Bear, 2 for Giddy. Oblation, I mean, at that point, barely even needing to move to clear out the row.
Yeah. I mean, you had 3 people just walk into the sights of Guy on a Bear, and 1 person, and you had DS Lucas also just walk into the sights of Giddy. I mean, you had 4 kills during that round that, I mean, I'll say 3 kills at least. Guy on a Bear should not have gotten any more kills after that first one. That first one should have been his only kill on the rappel there. He should not have been able to get any more. And
they just had to walk into the building, and Favelas gave themselves up. So, well, we're going back down to garage. This is the site that Favelas had won previously, but it was due to lack of cover on the side of Oblation. I don't think Oblation are going to make that same mistake twice. Already a Bear, Inrio, and Giddy, the trio, all on 4 kills, leading the pack. Favelas, I would imagine, are going for a very similar roam. The only operator that they've swapped out is the Valkyrie for the, or instead of the Malusi. So Kino back on the love of his life, as we've got Jolton, who's likely going to be playing inside the bathroom. Last time when Oblation went for the clear, yes, it was a bit, so I'm noticing a pattern. It's slow, but it's thorough. They do get the job done. So far in all their roam clears, every single one, through all 3 rounds, they've come away with the advantage. Yeah. It was the site execute in round number 1 that kind of is really where they faltered, and the archives teller was down to kind of Carnage maybe jumping the gun a little bit, and especially that top floor roam last round was really good. So I imagine Jolton's not going to be too long for this world inside a bathroom, or he'll probably get flushed out very quickly, which is definitely something a lot of attacking teams tend to struggle with.
Yeah, and now that I'm seeing that, because yeah, the only round that really I mean, the only round that Favelas have won was off the back of Pred just swinging at the perfect time. I mean, other than that, you're right. Their roam clear was great. I mean, yes, it was a little bit slower than we're used to seeing in the very aggressive meta that we see with roam clearing, but they got the job done, and they still had time to execute. So I can't really fault them for that. And I mean, we're starting to see Oblation is pulling away to be a little bit more dominant. And there's a C4 that is just barely going to miss Guy on a Bear there. Jolton gonna go ahead and use that utility up as they're looking to fight. The person sitting inside of Projector looking to start coming up there onto the printer door. Scatter Barrel go ahead and throw a drone down into Piano, start clearing out that floor.
Yeah, so of course they had that C4 prepped. Jolton with a pre-place. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too late. He could have found Guy in a Bear. He could have found the Buck, an influential part of the bathroom clear. The cam will still persist though, and they'll be constantly yellow pinging this Buck for either the Valkyrie or the Jaeger to move in on as he tries to clear by bathroom. A drone will spot Kino. Kino likely won't get too aggressive after that, but still, Buck now on yellow ping. He's standing still. They could easily go for a wall bang. Unfortunately, the MPX cannot shoot through 2 walls at a time as Jolton has already been cleared out of bathroom.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because now you've lost your first floor presence and have made it a lot harder for those second floor defenders to go ahead and make that rotate down. As now Guy on a Bear is pretty much free to go ahead and get all that vertical control that he wants inside there, but it does look like Kino is looking to make a little bit of a play here as he's heading over to the office.
Yeah.
If he plays this right, he could do something incredible. As Vivid and Giddy will both get kills on Carnage and Jolton respectively, putting it down to a 5v3 in favor of Oblation. I say that the Razor will also get a kill onto DS Lucas. It's all up to Kino and Pred now, and off his back, Kino will get Razor. Pred still up, but Kino goes right down to Guy on a Bear, and it's all up to Pred. Once again, 1v4 shotgun on the yellow stairs, and he whiffs it. Giddy will come away with a headshot, and Oblation take round number 4.
Again, a very dominant round from Oblation, and this time, instead of actually roam clearing the top floor, they were like, all right, we got the guy out of bathroom, we can cover the rotates. Let's just go for the take. They open the wall, Thermite had opened the wall, as Bear is going up above Piano and causing chaos upstairs with that vertical play, and the first 2 kills, Carnage, who was it? Karn and Jolton, I believe.
Yeah, Karn and Jolton, they were the first 2.
We're not the roamers.
No, they weren't.
They were
on
2
site.
men on site. At that point, the attackers now know, all right, Kino and DS Lucas, if they have not rotated back to site yet, it's essentially a 3v1. It's just Pred. Pred did his best. I mean, he was the last one alive, and while the execute was going on, Oblation still had the flank watch covered. DS Lucas went down. Kino off of yellow stairs. The attackers had no idea he was there. He gets 1, but he's quickly traded off by Guy in a Bear because he was too distracted with the floor holes and trying to stop the execute from happening. He wasn't paying attention to the guy inside of Antechamber, which I don't even know if he knew that guy was there or not. Of course, Pred's in a 1v4. What can you do? Whiffs the shotgun blast and just gets shot in the back by Giddy. So Oblation with some brilliant attacks on Consulate so far, and showing why they picked this map, as Favelas will yet again try for the minefield.
Yeah, I mean, even now, the Oblation that I'm seeing playing against the Favelas does not match up with the score lines that I've seen from them, or even the footage that I saw from them. It's close to what I saw from the that Tide map during Playday 1, or not Tide map, the overtime match that the Favelas won. But even so, the Favelas were putting up much more of a fight than this. I mean, this feels like, Oblation just has their number. They know exactly how to dismantle this defense. I feel like they have put a lot of time into Consulate, and just they've been saving it for the right time, and now is apparently that time.
Yeah, and there's also too the fact that the Favelas did get 7-2 by Red Free on this map. So I don't know if it's Oblation, had probably prepped a lot, and Favelas, maybe this just ain't their map. Same C4 coming out, but it won't work twice. The attackers very aware of that, and so Kino will unfortunately waste a quarter of the minefield that Favelas has set up
Attackers recovered the bomb
downstairs. So they
diffuser.
know the Valkyrie is there. She doesn't see the drone, and now they know that she's gone deeper upstairs in the projector. In fact, there's multiple drones watching her. Inrio trying to get the cutoff, and Guy and a Bear again with the first frag. Diaz Lucas, the Vigil, who survived very late into the round inside of admin, goes down, and Kino follows thanks to Giddy. And again, we're only a minute 15 into the round, and already the roamers have been snuffed.
Yeah, I mean, things are not looking good for the Favelas. Again, as I was saying, it feels like Oblation just knows this map well enough, knows the strategies well enough that they can just dismantle this defense in a matter of seconds. I mean, as you said, minute 15, the roamers are gone. The only people left now are the people inside of basement, and you've already wasted one of those C4s. You've got 2 more left. You still have the pulse to deal with, but you have 5 people up. Your IQ is still up. You still have most of your utility up. You can get some soft breach onto there to get some vertical control down into the site. So, I mean, this, if you play this right, I mean, Oblation can just absolutely run away with this if they really want to.
Now, if the Favelas are accurate with their C4s, though, they can take this from a 5v3 to a 3v3, as long as Carnage and Pred hit them. Which unfortunately, they did not in the last round. Oblation so far slow with the setup. They know what lies beneath, as Vivid will start to go for the plant. Where's the heartbeat sensor from Carnage? It won't come out because he's caught by Giddy, just dropping into the closet. Golden Pred now the last 2 defenders. Giddy will finally be fragged for actually his first death in this entire game. Razor with the refrag, and now it's all up to Pred. He'll miss his C4. Now it's just the Vector in a 1v4. Trying to challenge up Spiral. That's where the Cap Tau is playing, but he turns his back to Inrio going down Visa stairs and Oblation. Win round number 5. Yet again, another extremely dominant round. They have won the past 3 rounds in a row with only 1 death.
Yeah, I mean, things are not looking good for Favelas now. Now, maybe things change up for them once they get to switch on to the attack. Maybe defense is just not their strong suit on this map. Maybe that's just not it's not what works for them. But unfortunately, I mean, if they are able to pull out another round, if Oblation is able to pull out another round, it's possible, but it's going to be nigh impossible for the Favelas to come back from it.
Yeah. Also, Giddy's 8-1 in 5 rounds. That round was his first death on the Zofia on the entry. He was 7-0. Now he's 8-1. That is definitely impressive. Inrio he's got a 1 KPR right now. Guy and a Bear 6-2 as well. I mean, Razor's positive. Even Vivid, the hard thermite main. He got an opening frag in 1 round. That's his only kill, but he's only died twice.
Yeah.
And he's got 2 plants. So far, Oblation working very, very well together. Meanwhile, Favelas, they've had a couple standout performances in these rounds, but look at the kill counts. 1 and 5 for Diaz Lucas. Kino, the big fragger. 4 and 5. Jolton as well. 2 and 5. Even Carnage B, currently sitting on a donut. Favelas are not ramped up in high gear. I'm afraid that if they drop any more rounds like this without just putting up a fight, by the time they do wake up, it might be a little bit too late.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think hopefully the side switch is what the Favelas need to really kick themselves into gear, because I've seen it happen with teams before. Is all they need to do is just, hey, kick it out of this mindset into the next one. It's a good reset for them, and it's a good way for them to get things going the other way if things haven't been going their way. And I mean, it's what the Favelas need if they want to take this map. They really just need a hard kick in the other direction with how things are going.
A kick in the pants.
Yeah.
That's what we call it. And well, they'll be down on Garage again. The only site they've been successful on, but the second time they did it, Oblation took the round. So it's not even a perfect site for them. They're 1-1. So we'll see if their roam decides to just walk into the crossfires of Oblation again, as yet again they're all the way back towards admin, not opting to directly challenge console. I believe it's Kino and Diaz Lucas. They've kind of been the duo on this roam every single round. And yeah, there's the Malusi and the Jaeger. Ooh, what a shot from Kino as he just drives by Giddy on the pixel angle. Good night to the Zofia. And another one, pre-firing the melee hole through the desk. Kino with the third, as he's just tearing up the top floor with Malusi. 3 kills fall to the T5, and all of a sudden, the entire push from the Favelas has been stunted. It's Vivid and Inrio now in a 2 versus 5.
That's just the way it needed to go for them. I said they needed a hard kick in the pants, and they got it right there. There's Carnage getting himself off the donut there. Go ahead and take care of Vivid. Leaves Inrio in a 1v4. They know exactly where he is. He's going to get one nasty shot onto DS Lucas, but 1v3. Still a lot of work he needs to do. No diffuser in hand, but it looks like he can get control of it. There's a lot of work he needs to do in these last 50 seconds if he wants to win this round. Sees one over by White. Dan is able to down him. Jolton. With one down, gets hit by the Malusi. Sees the one through the window. Takes shots onto Carnage. They need to stop peeking him like this because it's not working. Jolton's still down. It's a 1v2 essentially. Carnage down 25 HP. Pred wasting all of his gas canisters, but still 30 seconds left. Jolton is going to be able to get picked up by Pred there. Or not Pred, Carnage, my mistake, but the Malusi there is actually going to put him in the
melee.
Yep, went for the melee, and unfortunately that is going to be his demise. This Jolton from behind the bomb chassis is going to be able to take him out.
I'm not gonna lie. That was scary. We all know what Inrio is capable of. And Favelas kept peeking him. I mean, he took 75 HP off the Mira, and he downed the mute. And I think if it wasn't for that Malusi on yellow stairs, Inrio could have definitely clutched that.
Yeah.
With the shots he was hitting there. So thank God for Kino playing that up and not, thank God he swapped off the Valkyrie back onto the Malusi.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, Inrio would not have been, Inrio's clutch attempt would not have necessarily been as hampered. So 4-2 half, it's not the end of the world. It's not a 5-1. So a good recovery from Favelas on the final round. They'll take Garage, a record on Garage now. 2-1 instead of 1-2, and we will swap sides. Ablation now on the defense, and here's where we'll find if Favelas are truly just lost on Consulate or if it happens to be attacker side.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kick in the right direction they needed. I mean, they need to just capitalize off of that round win, which was fairly dominant despite how it ended. They need to capitalize on that momentum and keep it going into this half. If they let it falter for even a second, with how Oblation have been playing, I think they're going to capitalize on that, and I think they will be able to run away with this map if they see any chink in Favela's armor.
5 seconds.
Yeah, no. They will be running Inrio on Mira.
Attackers are moving to defuse.
That's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Inrio really play Mira. That's usually like Vivid or Giddy. Although they have, Vivid has emphasized to me that their flexibility on the roster is really what they were working towards in the past, between the split and in the past couple weeks. So we'll see. Guy in a Bear is on the pulse. That's definitely an operator that Favelas have to watch out for. But instead of the IQ, they brought a Gridlock. Of course, they have Jolton on the sledge instead of the buck that Oblation would bring, so they still have got hard destruction, but they no longer have that scanner to find the Valkyrie cams, to find the pulse, to find anything like that. Instead, they'll opt for the flank watch of the Gridlock. That's definitely interesting, especially with how hard those Valkyrie cameras can be to find on this map, especially if they're placed outside, and how heavy of an emphasis a lot of teams place on pulse. So we're going to see what Favela's strategy is, why they haven't opted for that, and whether or not Oblation are going to be able to take advantage of the lack of that pick.
Yeah, and I think as well, I think the biggest thing there is actually the pulse. I mean, knowing how instrumental he can be, especially on these lower floor sites, why you wouldn't bring an IQ, it's almost confusing. We see Kino here is actually very, very close to Giddy there on spiral stairs, and if he peeks this wrong, it could mean death for him, but it looks like Giddy's going to get away with his life there and fall back down. It came very, very close to being bad for Kino there, but there's Jolton. Going to go ahead and open things up with a kill there onto Razor, taking out the Jaeger.
So first frag going the way of Favelas. Good job to the sledge as he was actually playing inside of Tellers with a rotate down towards Visa. Also spot one player inside of Archives, but Giddy gets the C4 kill on Jolton. So there goes your sledge, there goes all your soft destruction, but there's a big 2 kills from Kino, making a third! 2 rounds in a row, Kino able to just walk in and kill literally everybody, and it's all Inrio. The pistol won't find the frag, but it's still Mira in a 1v3. Will he have enough ammo in each magazine on the Vector? It's a puny mag. Challenging now up yellow. There's a player out the doorway to his left. He sees the gun barrel as he hits the reload, and there's the head of DS Lucas now gone. Carnage B, though, opening the wall. The hatch is open. Kino definitely has to be careful of that. And Pred still has those track stingers, and that could stop Inrio from trying to flank upstairs. All is quiet now as the Favelas don't want to push Inrio too recklessly, as again, we've seen what this man can do in the clutch situation. Carnage B currently outside the main breach as Pred is above. He do some destructibility with that super shorty, but as Inrio peeks the breach, he misses a crucial couple shots and puts them all in the chest, while Carnage B puts one in his brain. There you go, the clutch attempt shut down, and Favelas with yet another round.
Yeah, unfortunately, that 5.56 XI is just too powerful at longer ranges compared to that Vector. I mean, it was just like he was throwing pebbles at him at that range, really. Unfortunately, without hitting the head, and that will that'll go ahead and be a round again in the Favelas' favor. Wow. They're starting to Kino has really started popping off now. I mean, 3 kills in the last defending round, 3 kills in this round. I mean, he's started to turn into the main fragging force here for the Favelas, and they're starting to capitalize now. They've got some momentum going now, 2 rounds in a row. They turn this into a third. They've got a real chance of pushing this forward.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
bombs. Kino is pretty much the only reason that they've been able to take the last 2 rounds. Yeah. And Inrio is the reason why both those last 2 rounds came probably a lot closer than they should have been. Last it was a 1v4 down to a 1v2, and if Inrio hit that shot out the breach, I think it could have been his yet again. But unfortunately, it will not go that way. At least unfortunately for Oblation, fortunately for the Favelas, rather serendipitously, as they say. Kino just walked into concrete and killed people. That's kind of the story of that round. So good job to Kino, repeating his success. He's now gotten 6 kills in the last 2 rounds. Remember when he was like 4 and 6? Yeah, me too. Now he's 10 and 7. So good job to him. And the Favelas are probably going to need that though, coming into these later rounds. If it hasn't been for Kino, I cannot stress this enough. If it wasn't for Kino popping off in the last 2 rounds, he might not have gone the same way, and that's not something that the Favelas can at least reasonably rely on happening every round. Oblation, if they're wise to it, we've seen a lot of times teams will target a certain player. The power player, like I say, Kino right now. The only reason they've been winning the past couple rounds. If Oblation target him and are able to pick him off first, he could definitely be essentially, chopping one of the legs off of Favelas.
Yeah, and already it looks like they've opted for no top floor presence, which is interesting, if I do say so myself.
Oh, well, there goes Inrio.
Yeah, that's one of your main clutch factors gone already. It's going to definitely hurt Oblation, but they still have Giddy on the board, who's been doing a lot of good work. Guy on a Bear as well. I mean, just speaking pure utility-wise, Guy on a Bear is probably their biggest asset right now. And as I said, the Razor is actually rotating up from the main floor up the spiral stairs, catches Kino off guard, and Razor from, I believe, above the sledge hole there is almost going to get taken out by Jolton, but there's Pred from outside is going to finish him off there and put it down to a 4v3 in favor of the Favelas, and that is all of their roaming force now gone, but that's still 3 players left on site that they have to clear out with 1:30 left.
Dude, I didn't even know Razor was upstairs. What the hell? He came out of nowhere. He must have been like prone in a corner over by top spiral.
I don't think he was upstairs. I think he was sitting main floor and then moved up the spiral.
Up spiral.
Yeah, moved up spiral and then possible. I think that's what happened. And I think
he was playing. He was playing Tellers last round.
Yep, that's right. That's what I was thinking.
Because that definitely makes sense. But you have knocked off Kino, taking out the monster on Favelas. It's up to the last 4 to try and clutch things out without their main pushing power. Vivid, Giddy, and Dynabear still up. You've still got a C4. Never mind. I actually lied. Dynabear no longer has C4, and neither does Giddy. So he's really just intel at this point. You do have the 3 gas canisters on the side of Vivid, and whatever Banshees are still left up. Attackers are still going for this top floor control as Jolton is trying to hammer down and do his best. He'll take a little bit of damage. There's not too much it's not enough to really worry about. A nade salient could kill the player concrete, but there's an ADS covering the hatch. That's unfortunate for Jolton. He'll leave the other nade in his pocket for now. There's only 25 seconds left. Fellas do have the breach open, but still have to get through the gas canisters that Vivid is now expending. He's got 1 left, and it might be able to burn away the majority of the remainder of the time. Instead, he'll allocate it over towards yellow. That'll allow Carnage to get in behind White Van, go for this plant as Jolton gets another kill onto Giddy, and there you go. It's post-plant on Garage. This site sucks to retake. Dynabear goes down, and now it's even worse for Vivid. It's a 1v4. It's all on the shoulders of the smoke. There's 2 people upstairs, 2 people outside. This round is all but over. Only 30 seconds on the timer as well. He's got no time to do it, and he won't even land the first shot. Jolton with the final kill, and Favelas with a very dominant round number 8.
Yeah, generally taking those bottom-up fights are very, very difficult. And right there is exactly why Jolton just had the advantage on that angle in every single way. And I mean, as you said, retaking Garage absolutely sucks post-plant. I mean, it is almost impossible. And especially with how few players were left up, I mean, and how much of the Favelas were left standing despite losing Kino. I mean, that's the other thing. You lost your star fragger, and they were still doing incredibly well. So already the Favelas have, I mean, this now I can definitively say the Favelas have gotten their mojo back. I mean, that last round on defense really kicked them into gear, and now they are finally starting to show up a little bit more. I mean, Oblation looked like, I mean, towards round number 5, they looked like they were getting ready to run away with this. And Favelas said, nope, hold on, pump the brakes. We can still play. They've definitely shown that here.
Yeah, they so who needs Kino? I mean, we didn't account in the last couple rounds. We don't even now. And they did the work necessary. So Oblation now losing the lead that they had acquired on their attacking half. And they'll opt to go to Archives Tellers. Again, the split site being way more popular than top floor. Everyone hates playing top floor now, especially with perspective changes and upside down rappelling and just having to challenge windows all over the place. No one likes console. So Archives Tellers has kind of come in as typically, actually, you know, the second site a lot of teams will play it as. Plenty of C4 on the side of Oblation, plenty of Intel as well, doubling up between the Pulse and the Valkyrie. A bit of an off pick. Instead of playing Mira, instead of playing Jaeger or someone else, I'm opted to play Oryx. Giddy on that role. Now, Oryx is a pretty decent roamer. Doesn't bring too much utility to the team. I mean, you can, you know, make rotates, I guess, busting through walls everywhere. I wonder if they're probably playing him for the hatches, I would imagine. I think I saw the admin hatch was open. No, it's reinforced. I lied. Maybe he's got other hatches. There's... Okay. Wait. What? All right, there we go.
Wow.
Holy crap. Dude, I thought it was over, and then Razor just didn't shoot. I think he was maybe waiting for like another player to go to Predator so he could get a lineup. He's gonna get immediately traded off. Again, you killed Kino first off.
Yeah, I mean, once again, but I mean, we saw that didn't matter last time. That was pretty funny. But yeah, there's Inrio there to get the refrag onto Jolton though, and that's actually your 2 top fraggers down. I mean, Jolton has more kills than the last 3 players alive combined.
Yeah.
Which is rough to say the least, but I mean, each one of them just needs to get 1 kill, and then add another one onto that, and someone else gets a second kill, and I mean they've got it. But I mean, even so, it's a 4v3. You've lost your two biggest pieces of fragging potential, and there's a C4 gonna sail up, and Fred just kind of stares at it for a second, but then we'll run back upstairs to get away from it. That was
that was an explosive. So Carnage being now in the site, the Banshee going off will confirm that he has now taken that position. So that's a little bit of intel on the side of Oblation. Of course, they still have the Pulse. So is the Valkyrie if any of those black guys are still up. C4 comes up, but the shrapnel changes aren't enough to kill him. But there's Inrio just with his gun, I guess, peeking up through the floorboards to take the planter off the board. 2 versus 4, Pred and Dias Lucas. Now the last 2 attackers to try and make things happen. Diffuser now picked up as Pred will rotate off, it seems.
Yeah.
The attacker's a little bit stalled out. They don't really want to challenge. I mean, of course, going for this plant, while there's still a Pulse on the board, is very dangerous. There might not be any C4. There's still plenty of holes you can open up with a shotgun. Dias Lucas will get Vivid trying to come up the spiral staircase, but it looks like the defenders are actually going to forfeit the plant. Pred gets it down. Dias Lucas gets a double kill. He's quickly traded out by Inrio, but still, it's post-plant. Pred just has to hold out for another 30 seconds against Inrio and Guy and a Bear. Not the best guns on the defense. Pred with 1. He's only got to find 1 more, and it's up against the UMP. Guy and a Bear's going to have to hit the headshot. He gets caught in the rotate very low now, but both players just about half. Being stalled out. And a Bear knows that he's got to play for the intel and swinging around. Pred has no clue the 3-speed is approaching him. And there's an easy counter defuse for Guy and a Bear. Oblation will finally retake their lead.
Yeah, I mean, that is... I mean, that's what they needed to do, is they needed to They need to do exactly what the Favelas did, is pump the brakes a little bit, stop their momentum, or else they're going to just roll right over you. I mean, we've talked about this before on previous casts. I mean, Siege is a very momentum-based game, especially at this level of play. You let a team get going. I mean, you saw it with Oblation. You saw it again with Favelas. I mean, if you let a team get going and you don't find a way to stop them, they're just going to roll right over you, and they're just going to keep on going.
I also went from a 4v2 to a 1v1.
It did.
That was a great job from DS Lucas to cover the plant, killed both the player's Spiral as well as one of the first guys coming up Visa. Pred did his best. Pred got the plant down. He got a frag, too. Essentially traded himself off, but unfortunately could not win against Guy and a Bear, who just kind of snuck around inside of Visa, of course. Lack of intel for the attackers. Can't really blame Pred for that. Of course, maybe, maybe he could have placed the tracks differently, but, that follows the rest of his team as well for just getting picked off one by one. So Oblation now lead 5-4. They are one away from taking map one. They'll try to do it on they'll try to confirm map point on a lobby. So far Inrio and Giddy versus Kino and Jolton have been pretty entertaining. I think it's been a good match so far. And
yeah,
they will take a Mira for middle floor. Mira is not usually the best operator for Consulate, but people definitely find spots to play her. She's good for Archives Tellers. If you play her right on lobby, she can certainly be useful as well. So we'll see how Oblation play around that. Of course, Giddy's still bringing the Valkyrie, still plenty of intel, and still no IQ from the Favelas.
Yeah, I mean, this is, it's interesting not to see any, IQ brought, but seeing the Thatcher, I think, is a good way, for Gadget, at least on those Malusis, because I think that's probably the biggest thing for them, is finding a way to shut down those Malusis, because I mean, we've talked about it before. I mean, you've heard pros talk about it, you've heard procasters talk about it, you've heard just about everyone talk about it. Everyone hates the Malusi Gadget and just how oppressive that thing can be.
Ooh, they needed a Banshee to stop Inrio on that clutch. Yeah, Banshees are annoying.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it does its job, and, but there's Kino just going to just destroy Razor as I say that, going ahead and taking the person who placed all those Banshees out of the game right then and there.
Well, conversation is short-lived, and Vivid will try and peek down Visa, try and get the trade, be slapped down by DS Lucas. Now top floor is very nearly in the attacker's favor. They only need to clear out, I believe, one more member who's tucked inside a bathroom. From down the hatch, Giddy will take, or Kino will take one bullet, but it's not enough to dissuade him. Now he looms large over the vertical. There's a player on yellow stairs, and that'll be where the frag is found. Inrio with a great shot. So far, him being really, so far they've really only killed Kino off of either a trade or someone ratting out in a corner. Leave it to Inrio to challenge him to a heads-up gunfight and finally find it. But the angle does not work. Jolton from upstairs, right into the doorway, and Inrio can't even see him. It's Giddy and Guy and a Bear, the last two defenders. Giddy with a shield, so the only C4 being on the Mira against 4. Favelas with full top floor control, as well as a minute to work with. Should be a fairly easy execute.
Yeah, definitely. But there is still C4 on the board in the hands of Guy on a Bear. Giddy is sitting on Spiral, so there's potential for plant denial there. But I think it's going to be very, very difficult with them having so much top floor presence. It's just a matter of how they want to pull off this execute. Now, one nade is going to sail. It's actually the last one coming from Jolton down to the Spiral door. It's not going to be enough to dispatch Giddy. But they're going to go ahead and throw some flashes out. Looks like they're getting ready to push him here. He will get a spray onto Carnage. My mistake, that's Guy on a Bear. Taking out Carnage there, and that is your Thermite down and out. And the swing, he has no idea. There's Giddy taking out Pred, as Pred actually takes out Guy on a Bear. Now it's a 1v2. Giddy taking quite a bit of damage, but is able to get the kill onto Jolton. It's all left up to DS Lucas with no control over the diffuser, and Giddy with a free rotate over to Yellow Stairs. This is very quickly turning back in the favor of Oblation. A 4v2 turned into a 1v1. DS Lucas is planting. Giddy is now moving up. Has to know that it's going to be back behind Circle Desk now. Sees his head through the gap, springs around, but it's not enough. And Favelas will take round number 10 off of DS Lucas, finishing it out. That was very tense.
That was so close.
Absolutely.
I mean, nearly, again, a 2v4 in the favor of Favelas, coming down to a 1v1. A valiant attempt from Giddy there. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. The fact that he was able to get those first 2 kills and then be able to rotate back down yellow and back into sight was huge. It was just a little bit too slow. Dias Lucas knew he was rotating, knew he had all the time in the world to get the plant down. That was a great play by Dias Lucas. Unfortunately, I think that a little itty bitty angle between the desk and the bomb chassis, when Giddy found it, I think he jumped the gun. I think if he holds off the trigger just for a second, he gets a better peek, because as soon as he shot and whiffed, Dias Lucas had the reaction, came off the bomb, and shut him down. So it was a great job by especially the roam clear of the attack as well. Kino with the first frag. I think Dias Lucas shutting down Vivid, and then Jolton picking up Inrio. So that was a great job. Big 3-piece to open things out, in the first place. Oblation, now again losing their lead. We're back to even, 5-5.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think now at this point, with how this has been coming down to, I mean, before it felt it was very momentum based, but now it's just back and forth into whoever's left up to finish out the ones is really what this is coming down to. So now, before I was thinking, all right, whoever wins, I think whoever put it up to map point was going to be able to take it, but now I have no idea. I mean, even if the Favelas win here, or Oblivion wins here, I mean, or Oblation, my mistake, not Oblivion. It could very easily push us into overtime with how things have been going. I mean, it is still way too early to call which way this is going to go.
Now they'll try lobby again. No real shake-up. Same exact operator lineup for both teams. Favelas have been running the gridlock religiously. I don't really know how much the gridlock is done. I don't think her track stingers have really been all that influential this map. But if that's what they want to stick with, that's what they want to stick with. Oblation, yet again, with the top floor roams, that is how you hold the middle sites. Inrio already taking a little bit of damage, and they'll have to contest with Vivid, who's tucked inside of Bosco. Jolton now with the angle all the way down long into Projector, so if Vivid goes for that same swing, Jolton will be able to, or whoever's playing that wall, will easily be able to shut him down. And this was the power position that Kino has played pretty much every single round, even on the defense. It seems to be his domain over towards the back by Soda Machine. Flashbang's coming in to try and burn anything protecting that shield, and Kino will likely swing in with his Ash Launcher and dispatch of it in due time. He does have to be careful of a player inside the connector. Instead, he'll just burn up the barbed wire. I believe a Banshee right next to it as well. He's got yellow pings as if someone's playing behind the desk with a pre-fire. Reveals his location just enough for Giddy to get a very tight pre-fire off. And yet again, the monster on the Favelas goes down early.
And I believe it's been a few rounds now since Kino's been able to get a kill, but there's Jolton with the perfect nade there to go ahead and take out Vivid, who is unfortunately the bottom fragger here on Oblation, sitting at 2 and 8, and the mute as well. But I mean, that's the thing. He's playing the mute. His utility is all down. He was able to get it all off. At that point, he was still just a gun on the board. So if you're gonna lose someone, hey, it's not the end of the world. But I mean, it's still a man advantage that is now lost, putting it down to an even 4v4. Minute left. The Favelas still have a lot of clear. They haven't even cleared out top floor yet. Yeah, and there's 55 seconds left. I mean, this is going to be a very, very difficult situation for the Favelas to come out of. And there's Inrio. It will take down Carnage, but Dias Lucas very quickly refragging it, putting it down to a 3v3. But diffuser control is now out of the hands of the Favelas, and he has to cross front door in order to get this. It's going to be very difficult if they have someone watching this, but it looks like they have not rotated anyone over there yet, as Inrio was inside of bathroom.
They've also only really peeled away one piece of the top floor puzzle with Vivid. Inrio was on site when he died, so the defenders will still hold control over the top. Giddy Guy and a Baron Razor versus Jolton Fred and Dias Lucas. There's the shots coming off from the sludge upstairs. Cannot catch the man moving to Projector. Dias Lucas trying to just EMP to see if there's any cams watching. A great shot on the Guy and a Bear is Giddy refragged for 2. Upstairs control in the hands of the Valkyrie. A triple kill for Giddy. Now a 1v2 for Dias Lucas. He's able to clutch out the last round with the plant, but he won't be able to clutch out this one as Razor from above will be able to take him out. Oblation just holding on to this top floor. And they tell Favelas they'll have to rip it out of their cold, dead hands, and they'll still loom large, and that'll be the round winner for them, especially Giddy with a big 3K.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I mean, it was feeling a little bit of deja vu there. I mean, Dias Lucas in a 1v2, that time he just wasn't able to close it out, and it's looking better for Oblation now. But as I said before, I mean, this is just, it's too hard to tell which way this is going to go. I mean, yeah, Oblation is sitting on map point, but just as easily the Favelas could come back and pull out another round here. mean, it is still entirely possible. I mean, even so, I mean, despite the fact that they are down, the Favelas still have a winning record on this half. They're still 3-2 on this half.
Attackers need to locate
So, I
and
mean,
defuse bombs.
it's still very, very possible for this to head to overtime, but it's still very possible for this map could be over right here, right now.
I think if Oblation are able to shut down Kino early again, they win the map right here. Last couple rounds, they've shut down Kino, and that has just ripped the teeth out of the roam clear of Favelas, right? It took them out last time, like especially the last round, we saw how much that affected them. Kino was the main pushing force that was able to take the guy inside of the connector, and then you got the refrag from Bosco as Vivid swings out of the position and gets cut down by the guy watching an admin. This time, Kino gets ignited by Giddy.
I gotta shut you down there.
What?
I didn't know SSG was playing.
No, that spot, the corner that Vivid plays, that Vivid was playing and projected behind the shield, that's called Bosco.
I see.
Yeah, you know how like it's like a player call, like K9, or like how
see.
under the skylight on Cafe is Chico.
I see.
Yeah, that corner projector is Bosco. So Vivid playing Bosco, swings out, gets cut down. There you go. That's a great roam clear from Favelas. This time, Kino dies. They have to use so much utility taking Vivid out. Vivid plays it very passively, which I love the change from him. And then after that, Favelas kill the guy projector, and they're like, okay, we roam cleared. Whatever. Meanwhile, Giddy and Razor are still, like, just inside of console and bathroom waiting for their time to strike. The guys on site were doing a brilliant job of delaying. You know, Inrio gets a frag and trades himself out, and by then, that's when Giddy and Razor make their move. Giddy gets 2 huge kills pinching with Razor, and from there, they use the top floor control to their advantage, and good night to the planter of DS Lucas. So, I think if Oblation can shut down Kino again, they can definitely win the round. But Kino has actually gotten into the building. There's no one ratting out in a corner inside of paper, so he won't just get shot in the back this time. And Kino on the roam clear is a very scary prospect, though Oblation have been successful with this hold in the past, thanks to their effective use. I think they had a slightly more effective use of the minefield than Favelas had.
I will say...
What?
Huh? Why was he just standing there?
I don't know.
I was going to say that it looks like they have really nixed a majority of their off-site presence here. There's Jolta going to take a bunch of damage from C4, and Razor just pushes Kino and wins that somehow.
Razor? I am okay. He's like, there's a guy Visa stairs. He's already shot at me. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna walk.
I'm gonna push him. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna walk at him. I mean, it worked. You take Kino out. You take out the World Eater. Kino has 11 kills, and he's still negative because he's died every single round.
Yep.
So a great pick by Razor to start things off. I think it was also kind of a low risk, high reward kind of thing because he already has used his C4, so it wouldn't have been much of a loss of utility. Jolton is now in the site, trying to hammer down. Now that they still have their soft breach alive, they can make holes to try and deny those C4 players, just like when people do on, on the garage, just like when people do on the kitchen floor of Clubhouse. It's kind of a universal thing. More holes being opened by Jolton. It looks like their primary planter is going to be Carnage B, and they have already taken out the Banshee from inside the site. Really got to be wary of Guy and a Bear, who is not playing with the shotgun this time, so no quick holes up through the floor. So he's going to be relying on the UMP, the worst gun of the game. Carnage B now going for the plant. Where is the denial from the defense? No C4 coming out just yet because there's a player downstairs. It's the Sledge. He'll get one, but he's quickly traded out. Vivid with a C4. Razor on the DS Lucas as well, and all of a sudden it's just Pratt and Giddy upstairs on the Oryx. Will shut things out, just like I said. Kino first death, and Oblation with the final round. 7-5 is the score on Consulate.
Yeah, that was Giddy was able to rotate back up yellow stairs because they didn't initially have any presence on the top floor. So they cleared it out. There was like, all right, we're not going to worry about it anymore. Giddy just said, I'm going to take advantage for that. I'm going to go ahead and jump up this hatch. I'm going to jump up this other hatch, and I'm going to go ahead and just push him from upstairs. And he comes away with it. 15 kills total on the map. And we see Oblation pull it out 7-5. I mean, that was a very, very close map towards the end there. I mean, they pulled it way ahead there in the very beginning, but Favelas kind of gave him a little bit of a pushback, said, hey, nah, we're not going to go down. We're not just going to lay down and take it. We're going to fight back. And they absolutely did.
Yeah, however, I will say, remember, again, not to harp on it, Favelas lost 7-2 to Rent Free. Oblation are a very good Consulate team. And Favelas are playing with a sub.
Yeah, that is also
still went to 7-5. So it was still a very close game. And next, we head to Oregon, which has so far for Favelas against Oblation, a 100% win rate. So we'll be able to see if Favelas can take us to a map 3 or if Oblation will take advantage of the sub on Favelas. We're going to take a quick break. After this 5-minute intermission, we will have map 2 for you after this short break. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Favelas versus Oblation, the last game of the day. If you were not here for Consulate, it was a pretty damn exciting series. 7-5, the way of Oblation. So Oblation, taking their own map that Favelas have not had the best history on. If really Kino or Jolton wasn't going big and around, they would tend to drop it. So we'll see if they have a better go of Oregon. We're going on to the Favelas pick and a map that they have beaten Oblation on every time they've played it against each other.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned at the end of the last map that Oblation is a Consulate team. Favelas were still able to take it to a 7-5 against a Consulate team. You mentioned, with a sub as well. I mean, Abanai is unfortunately not able to play today due to a personal emergency. But Pred has, I mean, we saw round one. He showed his worth and was able to clutch out a round and start things off well for them. So, I mean, despite the factors that were working against the Favelas during that last map, they still put up a fantastic showing. Oblation coming out with a win. They still have another map to go. I'm interested to see where this goes. But looks like we are ready to go ahead and head into our second map of Oregon.
All right. So, yet again, to reiterate, Favelas and Oblation have played this against each other on two separate occasions. Last time in stage 1, it was for the 5th, 6th place match, and it was an 8-6 victory for the Favelas. So it was in OT. It was very close. It was a really hotly contested game. Next time they played, though, stage 1, or play day 1 of stage 2, which was just a couple weeks ago, Favelas kind of slammed them 7-2. So hopefully, Oblation have gone back to the drawing board. They know what they did wrong in that game, and they can give us a better Oregon than we saw last time. First ban, right off the bat, Oblation are going to rip Ash away from Kino.
Yeah, they know how terrifying he can be on it, and with them starting on attack, they don't want them getting any edge whatsoever.
I wouldn't want to be up against Kino on Ash either.
No, but I mean, I think at that point, he's just gonna bring Sophia. Honestly, if I were to take a guess, I mean, he's just gonna take Sophia. Thatcher gonna be the next one taken off the board. So instead of opting to take a hard breacher off the board, Oblation are gonna take Ash in more of a target ban and leave every single hard breacher up. They're going to leave Ace up specifically, and that could potentially end up hurting Oblation in the long run.
So no Oregon with Thatcher up. Man, Maverick is still up, so he'll probably be played literally every single round.
Oh yeah, Maverick.
Lamai is also a very, very, very common ban. Valkyrie also going to be ripped away from you guessed it, Kino. So two of Kino's most played operators just immediately counterbanned. He is the world eater right now in CL.
Absolutely.
So, maybe Inrio going to have a better time in this match because Inrio gets to play his comfort picks of Jaeger and whoever he decides to go on the attack.
Yeah, so looks like we're already going to see we're gonna see the use out coming out of the Maverick there, and it looked like we almost saw use out of the Ace there. Maybe potentially a 6 pick from DS Lucas, but nope. Looks like they'll go ahead and lock everything in. Hibana and Maverick being brought out, and as I said, despite not having the Ash, Kino's just going to go ahead and bring the Zofia. Not too much of a difference, just a little bit slower, a little bit of a different gun there, but he can still be pretty scary with it from what I've heard.
Yeah, so we'll see how they do on the Dorm's defense. So instead of Wamai, who would normally fit into this lineup, they'll be taking Legion on Razor. Legion's cool. I like Legion. Legion's a really, really, really easy operator to play. And he does have a lot of impact, especially if he plays those blue mines correctly. Razor is actually setting some stuff up downstairs, so I would not be surprised if Vivid and Bear actually play below and do the kind of old Oregon style of holding inside of kitchen and playing through the Z4 from below while they leave Giddy, Inrio, and Razor upstairs. Of course, they are setting up an attic because that's what you do. You try and deny attic for as long as possible, while Favelas do the... I talked about this before, right? Remember how Bank... When people would attack the basement, it became just to be known as the bank round. Like the same thing over and over again. I think we're starting to develop the dorms round. You got Nomad and Nomad and Maverick taking the attic, or taking a big tower. Maverick opens the wall. You got a Nomad and whoever else has burn to try and take out back attic. Here's a change already. Nades. Nades no longer on the board thanks to Inrio with the very first kill of this map. Razor with another one on Pred, and already Oblation are amping it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not looking good already. And again, this is one of the things I was worried about for Oblation was from what I've seen from the Favelas, if they don't get it started out quickly, again, momentum based game. Favelas very much play into that, and they will just keep on rolling through them if they allow them a single inch. They will take an absolute mile. And so far, Oblation have said, no, you're not even getting a single inch, and we're going to keep you from even getting close to the site. And it looks like the swing is going to come out here onto Attic. The shotgun blast from that far away. Giddy is going to shut down Kino, and now Carnage is the only one left to contest here. The nade timed, but is only going to take a small fraction of HP away. Gas canister comes out, is going to block DS Lucas from entering the attic window there, and is going to force Carnage to back off for just a minute here as they prepare for this push. Another nade comes out, and it is going to take just a little bit more off of Giddy. Flash nade comes out, and it's not going to be enough to take down Giddy. The shotgun once again, leaving Carnage in just a 1v5. No big deal. He'll just have to ace to win this round.
He's got an average of 10 seconds per kill right now. For Carnage V to try and lock it out. He knows there's someone on the flank. I believe it's Razor on the Legion right now, just spamming through the meeting wall and holding Carnage V in place. The longer they can delay him in Big Tower, the, I guess, even bigger chance they have of taking this round in a 1v5. Razor will go down. So there's one exit frag for Carnage. Smoke canister choking him off over towards the breach and attic, though. And Oblation, they didn't even let the dorms round really start. They just shut everyone down over by the master side, who was trying to go for the games wall. That would likely be DS Lucas's job. Nomad got shut down, so no more flank watch, no more burn inside of attic. Carnage B will take out Giddy, who is a big reason why that round went in their favor. He'll quickly drop the hatch, sit in the corner, talk with his team, talk it out, see what happened that round, because you don't want to start on that foot and then keep the ball rolling. You want to try and bring it back. Round one will go the way of the Oblation.
Yeah, and I mean, that was pretty much very much at the hands of Giddy there with that attic hold. I mean, you had 2 kills early on that really helped start swinging it in favor of Oblation, but Giddy there with the massive attic hold right there, just absolutely pushing it in the favor of Oblation. They already take round 1. Carnage is the only person with kills on that round. Favelas really need to kick things up if they want to have any chance of stopping Oblation in their tracks and pushing them to map 3.
That was a really good job by Giddy. He believed, right? That's the secret.
Yeah, absolutely.
The more you believe in the M590, the better it does. And boy, did Giddy just put all his faith in it as he swung those corners. Kino got slammed on that first peek. I thought Kino was going to pull the trigger fast enough, but Giddy shut him down, and Giddy got a second because the Hibana thought it was a good idea to just kind of vault into the window with no cover. Carnage was all the way back in the tower. So, we're going to Laundry now. Standard rotation so far from the defense, and they'll be taking a Mira. Again, Mira is an interesting pick on this site. Yeah, you can put her like in box watching Laundry. It's a really good position. You can put her on the elbow wall, watch elbow. It's a really good position. What I'm very curious about is why people always put a Mira in E-box. When is the attack? I mean, you just open the meeting hatch and there you go. It's over. You can't play the Mira anymore. Especially if you don't play any roamers inside a meeting. Some teams tend to do that. I think Oblation might be, or no, Razor. I think Razor's just reinforcing the hatch. So yeah, Oblation aren't going to be playing for the roam. So it's easy for, and they don't have a Kaid. So it's easy for them to just Hibana the hatch. And then there you go, Mira window denied. Wait, did he just... Where did Giddy just put that Mira? Did he just put it on the outside of the E-box wall facing in?
I'm not sure.
I swear to God, that's where I just saw him put it. Yeah.
That is what he did. That's an interesting play. And it's a fully reinforced wall.
I don't understand. Why is
Neither
Kino
do I.
almost dead?
Why? Yeah. Why is Kino almost dead?
Inrio tried to challenge up Freezer Stairs while Kino made his early entrance towards back tower, and Kino will win it. So no more Inrio. But Kino is on 5 HP, so he is very lit up. So good job to Inrio, I guess, for taking damage off, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely put Kino at a disadvantage here. And with all of his utility in his back pocket, I mean, a single bullet from anyone will take him down. I'm still trying to I'm still trying to figure out. They're resetting.
They reset him with a Maverick torch, I think.
Yeah. But I'm still trying to figure out that mirror window from Giddy and what that play from Vivid is going to be. I mean, it looks like it's a play for blue tarps and construction, but the push at this point is very obviously not coming from there, so not sure how that's going to go.
We'll have to see. Like a freezer take is what's in store for the Favelas so far. Maybe even opening laundry hatch. Maybe we're going to see a front side push, which is not all too common, as they're very afraid of this mirror window. They really don't want to push this. They open the E-box hatch. I guess that's the counter to the E-box mirror denial. You just open the hatch, and there you go. They're faced with a mirror, and they don't know what to do about it. Stun's coming in too. They have not rotated it off, so I guess they're going to directly. Of course, you can't just go to the tower stairs, right, and shoot him in the back. There is a player pillar, so they don't want to get too aggressive. There's a smoke coming out on the freezer hatch as well, as the Favelas so far just look kind of lost. They don't know what to do about this mirror window, and to be honest, if I saw that mirror window, I'd be pretty goddamn confused as well. Here's a nade coming in from Jolton. They know that there's no denial, but it will not find its mark. In fact, a gas canister will deal a little bit damage to Jolton. Pulling long angle is Kino, looking for the head of the player inside a box, but there's only 38 seconds left. You're gonna have to try and make this push through freezer soon, but no, there's 2 deaths on the side of the Favelas. A quick double, making a triple for Oblation. It's a 4 versus 2. Pred and Diaz Lucas, the last 2 members, very separated, no chance for a trade. Pred locked off inside of laundry with the diffuser, so even if Diaz Lucas gets in sight, it doesn't really matter in the end. There's even a mirror window inside a box, the default mirror all the way from when Mirror first came out on this map, on the old map. This looks like the round is locked out for Oblation. There's Diaz Lucas with 1. He's quickly traded out, though. It's all up to Pred. He's
just going to stand there.
All right. He's just going to take it. He's going to say, you know what? Just kill me.
Yeah.
It's over.
I mean, already we're seeing Oblation has really... They have really turned things around here. From what we saw on Consulate. It's not necessarily that they were doing bad. They've changed the way that they're really slow. They're slowing down, and they are countering the aggression of Favelas rather than using map control to counter the aggression of Favelas. I mean, they're just using pure hard angles and sight presence as compared to just full map presence, angles and aggressive roamers. I mean, they're literally just using, hey, we're on site, you have no way to flush us out, and we're gonna push you down until these last 30 seconds. I mean, they're doing a really good job of that.
Even if Oblation drop this map and then lose 2-1, I'm still gonna DM Vivid on Twitter and just ask what the hell that mirror window is.
Well, yeah.
I mean, all right, so they put it on the outside of E-box, so you can't get it from the hatch, and you're kind of protected by the corner on the staircase because an attacker has to push down pretty far onto the tower stairs to try and counter it, and that's why they have a guy behind the pillar to stop that from happening. So they've got the crossfire locked down, and they've opened the E-box wall so the mirror window can see into bunker. It's just hard to, like, I mean, maybe they're playing for, like, the pre-fire around the door frame or something, like off a yellow ping, or I don't know. It's really interesting. But now, after winning their first 2 defenses, they'll be forced onto the offside. They'll go down to dining. Interestingly enough, I just noticed Maestro was not banned, and Oblation have not opted for Maestro once, which is one of Giddy's mains.
Yeah, it is definitely interesting. I think they're...
And he's really good on the site.
I think they're maybe opting for the mute for a little bit more intel denial, which I think I can understand when it comes to the Favelas. The more intel you can deny from, because it seems to me they are very, very heavy on their droning. They like to drone out these defenders. They like to try and figure out any position that they can. So taking that away from them is definitely any kind of help you can get. There's Kino. Just yep. Inrio is going to take down Kino once again. The Star Fragger for the Favelas is not going to be able to do anything else this round. Jolton going to go ahead and take down Vivid in a little bit of a refrag there, putting it down to a 4v4. Inrio taking some shots to the wall there, not going to catch anyone. He is up in attic. So Nothing to find just yet. The drone there going to get taken out as well. Razor sitting with that shotgun in a very dangerous angle. Looks away at just the wrong time. He's still in a great position if someone decides to peek. The sees the head of one, but it's not going to be enough. Gas canister comes up. He's going to block that out. And that's going to be Pred denied from that entry.
So, a good refrag, I guess, taking out Vivid, but deal with these players on site. Jolton with, I don't know what Jolton just took damage from. The attacker is still trying to take top floor. There's 2 people they have to deal with. Essentially a 2v4 up here for Giddy and his teammate. I believe it's Guy and a Bear. Yeah, Guy and a Bear to hold out on. I mean, they have support from Razor below with those holes. I don't know what Fred is trying to do. Look at very easily crossfired and finished off by Giddy. Jolton cooking the nade will think better of him and put it back in his pocket, but Giddy's there for another as he shuts down one of the players inside Attic. Now it's a 4 versus 2 in favor of the defense, and the upstairs fight has been even. Great job to Giddy for those 2 kills, and great job to Guy and a Bear to cover the crossfire, as now Inrio has joined them. Jolton will get fragged, or get the frag onto Giddy, but Razor's there with a trade. Carnage alone, shut down by Razor from below, actually. I thought he just got swung by Inrio, but no. It's Razor with the shotgun. He gets one with the SMG-11, and there's the second. 3 rounds in a row of flawless site rotation for Oblation.
Yeah, I mean, this is... I mean, they have not... I mean, as I said at the very beginning, they have not given the Favelas a single inch. And they have just been going and going and going, but it does look like, unfortunately, we are going to have to take a short break here, as it looks like Inrio has had his game crash.
Unfortunate. It was called in the op select phase, so I imagine it'll be approved.
Yep. They're we just gotta wait on admin confirmation just to make sure that it is considered legal. And
waiting for admin.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically the way it works. Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Rehost confirmed. All right, we're coming back. I imagine it'll probably have to be same site, same ops, coming back. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Inrio gets back in the lobby quickly. But we will resume at a 3-0 lead for Oblation. Oblation so far looking really, really good on their defense. It seems like there's sometimes a lack of droning from Favelas. They've been caught off guard by Inrio just playing in a weird spot. All 3 rounds. Inrio got the first pick, just kind of playing wherever in the first round. First pick and third round, he was just on main stairs, and Kino had no clue he was there. And in round number 2, Inrio, yes, he was the first death, but you can tell by the way that fight went, Kino had no clue he was going to push up Freezer stairs. Kino just happened to win the fight.
Yeah, and again, I think that goes back to what I was saying earlier in round 3, was that they've been playing a lot of mute. They've been playing a lot of intelligence denial because Favelas in the past, they have been a very drone-heavy team. I mean, on console, you saw them droning all the time, trying to figure out where those roamers were, where those defenders were sitting, if they were sitting in weird spots. And you're not seeing it now because the mute is there to deny it in every single way possible, and is doing a really, really good job of it. So I think it's a really good read by Oblation there in order to bring that, instead of, like you said, the Maestro, which is better for intel, better for plant denial, and a few other things. But the mute just brings that utility, which tailors a little bit more to countering the Favelas playstyle.
Yeah, it's been a good job by them to shut them down so far. And again, this is a map that Favelas have beaten Oblation on pretty much every single time they've ever played it against each other. Of course, it is Oregon defense. It's not too late for Favelas to try and string in 2 rounds in a row. Or if they take this round and then take the last round of the half, they'll still have 2. It'll still be a 4-2 half. So it's not completely over just yet for the Favelas if they figure out what they did wrong on their previous takes. A lot of it was just like poor roam clears and stuff. And it turns out actually nothing is locked. They will have free reign of site and operator selections. They'll be able to change whatever they want going in. I think we went back down or back up to dorms. I think I don't imagine the defense is gonna change that. Operator selection might vary.
Maybe, but I mean they've kept to a pretty consistent lineup so far, so I doubt that much will change on either side, really. I mean, there's in competitive, usually with a team, is what I've noticed more and more is people will find especially for attack, And I've started seeing it more and more on defense, is people find a set lineup of 5 operators that they know this is going to work on every single site. We can make this work on every single site so that this player is only having to worry about these guns, this gadget on this side, and these guns and this gadget on this other side, to keep it a little bit more consistent. And they find a good way to be more versatile with those operators rather than having a completely different lineup every single time. So, I mean, I don't expect too much change from them as well. I mean, we'll just have Inrio added in there, who unfortunately did crash.
Yeah, and I don't know if the reason why Ablation did take the very first Storms round is a lot of very early aggression. They really came out of the gate swinging. They got what, 2 very quick frags and a follow up. In fact, it was just 3 in a row for Ablation with no answer back. I mean, the first kill came out when Carnage was in a 1v5 because they just completely shut down the master side push. Giddy by himself just destroyed both players pushing attic. And from there, I mean, the round was just over. So I don't know if the Favelas, maybe they'll be ready for the aggression this time and not let Oblation kind of swing them and walk all over them. We'll have to see. Again, we're just waiting for all the players to get back in the lobby. There's no protest or anything. We're just doing it's just a rehost because Inrio crashed. So we are double checking. We do have all 10 players in the lobby. We're just getting ours at this point. So hopefully we can get back in. In fact, Carpe has just signaled our observer to start it. So you'll be getting back into Oregon very soon. Again, you were not with us. 3-0 lead for Oblation on their Oregon defense. All 3 rounds, in fact, being pretty dominant as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get back into it. And I mean, things have just been looking really, really good for Oblation starting out here. Before they were just, but before they kind of seemed on and off. But now it's seeming like they're gonna have to go with it, and it looks like they are not going to call a rehost, as Inrio will unfortunately crash again.
Wow.
So that will
is it 1 rehost or 2 rehosts per map?
I believe it's a rehost per map. But they are they're verifying, but they have not opted to call it, so they're just going to play it out with 4 players.
Wow.
Maybe save that for maybe a more crucial round if they do have to. But yeah, I mean that is incredibly unfortunate. They're going to have to be playing with 4 players out of 5 here. But I mean, I will say they haven't necessarily needed all 5 players so far. So I don't really know how much of a hindrance that would be. I mean, before, it would be that, hey, you don't have as many reinforcements, but now with the changes, you still get 10 in a full pool. So they
You lose Inrio, though.
Yeah, you do lose Inrio, who's been a pretty big player across both maps so far, but I think with how the rest of the team performed and has been performing, I think they can definitely still pick up the slack. I think it's just a matter of potentially utility is maybe lost later on. But there's Guy on a Bear going to get very aggressive. Wow. A spawn peek out of Armory window is going to take down Jolton. And already going to go ahead and even things out with not a single point of damage traded back onto him.
Okay, and that's Sledge dead, too. That is nades off the board. You still got the nades from Carnage B, but of course every extra set of nades can definitely help. Like you said, just evening out the man count pretty much as soon as the round started. So no drones too. You're knocking out drones because Dolphin had not been able to use them yet. I mean, maybe he's got the 1 drone stationary that he got from prep phase, but still, that's intel knocked off the board from Favelas, nades knocked off the board, and a very influential player no longer with them. So back in a 4v4, Oblation pretty much back in this round.
Yeah, definitely. And already Kino is going to take a bit of damage from the window there, and I believe there's also Guy on a Bear swinging that as well. I mean, that is that's going to force me. He's going to say, nope, not going to fight that, and I'm just going to go through attic.
Well, Maverick, interesting they're not opting to Maverick trick. They're just opting to make the little crouch hole and then open a line to watch the ledge inside of attic. I imagine the burn will come soon, as will the nades, trying to clear Vivid or Giddy out of this position. Giddy, who was essentially just kind of stopped the push by himself, and the nade coming in before the clear finished. There's the nade, and here's the follow-up peek. The pre-fire from Kino will dispatch of Giddy, so the power player and Attic not going to have any impact on this round. A little bit of poor usage of the nades, but he's able to get the final frag anyway. Kino with a great pick on the Razor. What a shot. He pushes in for more, but Guy in a Bear will shut him down. Very lit up, but still the Malusi will persist, and it's him and Vivid against the final three. Pred, Carnage, and DS Lucas can definitely make this attack happen. Another player rotating over towards Attic. C4 coming in through the Ace Breach won't hit anything, and Vivid will continue to play close to Trophy. Here's the peek from the Maverick, but the SMG-11 spray is too much to handle. There's the trade from Guy in a Bear. Left a triple kill on the round, but he's only 1 HP against 2. Pred currently holding him inside of Kids' dorms. DS Lucas walking through the game's breach, likely getting this plant down soon, or maybe, I mean, I don't suppose the attackers will play for the kill. Certainly could. But no, he's tucked into games. Perhaps on drone. Guy in a Bear, he could potentially clutch this up. Air jab coming out as well. He has the C4 in hand. C4 is essentially a free kill. He barely has to expose himself. On top of the table is where DS Lucas will get the plant down. C4 close to the corner. Will it find the frag? It does not. It's too far away, and thus they'll forfeit the plant. Here's the peek, and prone on the floor is Pred to finish things off. Favelas will take round number 4.
Yeah, I mean, they're finally starting to kick things back up now, and it seems, I mean, I honestly think that probably, I mean, as you mentioned, yeah, they were down a man, they were able to even it out, but again, you don't have Inrio. And Inrio is such a big player, and that just...
Like you said, whatever utility he was gonna bring.
Yeah, whatever utility, whatever kill potential, it's all gone. So maybe now they've got him back, they can kind of kick their momentum back into gear, but as we've seen, again, I'll say, I've said this phrase now twice. Give Favelas an inch, they'll take a mile. And this is that inch. Don't let them take the mile. If you're Oblation, you cannot let them take the mile now. I mean, you've got your other player back. Say, all right,
Attackers need to
no more excuses, no more anything. We're gonna push through. We're gonna make sure we win this. And if you're Favelas, you need to see this and you need to say, all right, we got a round. Let's take what we just did. Let's take this momentum, let's take this force, and continue it. And let's not let ourselves slip up. Let's not get caught in the same traps that we did last time. Don't everyone funnel into Freezer. Don't everyone push from the same 2 angles that are covered by a mirror window. I mean, you have to find...
10 seconds.
I mean, you have to find other ways of doing it. You can't fall into a trap of doing the same thing over and over again, because... as they saw from a perfect site rotation, Oblation knows how to counter what you just did. Don't do it again, because Oblation is likely going to have a same or similar strategy, which we've already seen, and we're seeing it once again, is a very similar strategy to what we saw last time they were down in basement. So Favelas are the people who really need to adapt here. Oblation, I feel like if they keep doing what they're doing and Favelas do the same, Oblation is going to be just fine. But if Favelas are able to adapt and go for not just a straight push through Freezer and down Laundry Stairs, and are able to really clear out Big Tower and maybe make a push through Construction, then I think they will have a much better chance of taking this round.
We'll have to see. Inrio is currently on the deep roam, and yet again, it's a Freezer push from the Favelas. I imagine Oblation were also setting up for that same mirror window that we saw on the outside wall of E-Box, facing in. Guy in a Bear also on Goyo. Freezer hatch will fall thanks to the hard breach of DS Lucas, and I believe he's getting the laundry hatch as well as the E-Box hatch too. Kino trying to challenge those tower stairs. Inrio nearly gets his head ripped off. He'll re-challenge. That's an easy kill for Kino. Inrio maybe getting a little bit too brazen there, and he will lose his life and be the first pick of this round. Now, there's no more pillars covered, so if they were going for that mirror window, there's no one to defend it. Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah. I mean, they gotta find a way to clear this out. I mean, and their only option is the Hibana, but she's used all of her utility, and there's Guy on a Bear gonna go ahead and swing from back inside of Blue Bunker to take out, I believe that was Pred, and there's Kino, and Jolton dead. DS Lucas finds them back on the Razors to refrag, but Vivid finds one on the Carnage, and it's a 1v3 for DS Lucas, and no control of Diffuser. And he's got 3 people to go against to make that 2 as he will find the kill on the Vivid, but it's still Guy on a Bear and Giddy, both with C4s in hand, both with really solid positions on the map here. It's going to be incredibly difficult for Dias Lucas to pull this off, especially with no flashes. That's the other thing. He has no more utility. He just has his guns. That is the only thing he has left to rely on here. He's got to deal with a Goyo shield and the Vector with, again,
2 vectors.
Two vectors. No flashes, no nothing. He knows where Guy on a Bear is. I think Guy on a Bear knows that now as well, so he's probably going to rotate back into sight.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Does not know where Giddy is, though. This could potentially be really, really good if this is played right, but he goes, wow, that was a perfect crossfire there with the vectors. I was going to say he knows exactly where Guy on a Bear is, but it doesn't matter because Giddy just swings out of nowhere, and the Vector rips him apart.
Wow, great defense there from Oblation, and a great job to both Vivid and Guy on a Bear to lock off that bunker push. As soon as that push came down, they completely wiped him out. Vivid got 2 inside of Pillar to shut down that tower push. Guy on a Bear with that first swing on the bunker, and Razor with the cover. It was all up to Dias Lucas. Of course, he put it down from a 1v4 to a 1v2, so good job to him. Unfortunately, it was not enough. So Oblation will now take their 4th point. They have taken their quota for the defense. They're sitting pretty.
Yeah,
now,
absolutely.
It's really up to Favelas to try and take the Storm's attack just like they had last time. They are 1-1 on it. That is also the round that Inrio unfortunately disconnected. So now they're going to have to go into a 5-on-5. Oblation won it. Last time they were in a full 5-on-5. I think this is looking like a 5-1-half unless Favelas really change up and are able to efficiently take into Attic in games as efficiently they were able to do last time.
Yeah, and again, I think part of that also came down to the utility that was lost with Inrio. With him being back now, I think that's definitely going to help Oblation here. And
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, another thing, they can't let Razor do what he did last time. I mean, he just swung Armory window.
That was fair.
Or Bear, yeah, my mistake. I thought it was Razor because Razor switches between playing Malusi and Legion. So I just saw it was Malusi who swung and just conflated the two. But yeah, Guy on a Bear, they can't let him do that again. They can't let him do something like that again. But it doesn't look like he will. As Carnage, Kino, and Pred will go ahead and start making the push over to Big Tower.
Yep, so thus begins the Dorms round. You're going to have Carnage B open up the attic wall, have Kino and Pred help out with the burn and make sure there's no ADSs behind attic. Of course, it is a lot easier to clear because there's no Womai, but all the way from Small Tower, that is a very old peak that we see Jaegers do all the time.
Oh,
and
no.
From downstairs in the garage, Razor catches Jolton trying to rappel up to Highway. An unfortunate 2 picks for the Favelas and Oblation already with a substantial lead.
Yeah, it's looking a lot worse for the Favelas now. I mean, you lost Kino and Jolton. We've said before, these guys are the 2 big players, but as I say that, Razor gets a little bit too aggressive there and just kind of leans right into the bullets of Pred there. And he's going to be able to get a little bit more control over the Armory hallway there in the top of main stairs.
It's only 1 refrag to trade back the 2. Oblation doing very well so far. Giddy will get very lit up by that angle by Dias Lucas. I think that was actually through the wall. He will be a little bit worse for wear, maybe not be able to hold attic as effectively as he's done in the past, because 1 bullet will probably be the end of him. All 3 of the last attackers over towards Trophy, looking like they just want to push through the wall. Of course, they do have the games wall open thanks to Dias Lucas. Never mind, they don't. It's mute jammed. Here's Carnage V to clear it out. And there you go. Mana Pellets now giving them that access to the site. Unfortunately for Guy on a Bear, his wide swing will be caught by Pred, moving back over towards attic. So the attackers can start to continue this pinch. I don't believe there's really anyone to retake that position that Bear was previously playing. No, they're all over towards either big dorms or inside of kids dorms. 50 seconds left. Favelas do have a decent amount of time to gather intel in the site, set up how they want. It's almost a minute. Giddy again is very lit up. The HP advantage is also in the attacker's favor as Pred will start to move down Attic and establish that control, get the crossfire into the middle of the site and stop anyone from trying to swing games. But as I say that, Inrio will shut down DS Lucas on the main breach. Carnage B and Pred now the last two. When Carnage B tries to get this diffuser down, it'll essentially be a 1v3 for Pred to try and cover him all by himself. Carnage B trying to get a free pick inside, trying to spray down by White. Still, he'll take a lot of damage thanks to the swing from Inrio. A triple kill for the Jaeger. Pred with his own 3k to lock him off. Here's a smoke gas canister trying to choke him out. Giddy will get caught off guard. A quad kill for Pred. Can he find the ace? He needs to find where Vivid is. He's got no intel. There's only 2 seconds left. Vivid is inside of games. Where are you going, Pred?
Operators, you are out of
Clutch
time.
attempt will get shut down by the clock. Oblation with round 6 and a 5-1 half.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Bolo Charm not going to be enough to get him the ace there. Gets him very close with that sweet, sweet 4K, but it's not enough to push him over the edge. That it will be, yeah, as you said, a 5-1 half in favor of Oblation. And now begins the climb up Everest for the Favelas. They have to win 6 rounds in a row if they want to take this right here now and push us to map 3 without going into overtime. They have to win 5 rounds if they just want to push it to overtime. Again, this is the climb up Everest for the Favelas here.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as
Yes, they're not looking so hot. 2 more rounds. That's all Oblation needs.
Yeah.
Only need 2. And that'll be it. That'll be the first time Oblation have been able to finally go in over Favelas. And now Oblation, attacking downstairs on the laundry, they are going to do the Oblation push, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ying, open E-box hatch, Ying down into pillars, go down tower stairs as Ying drops E-box, try to frag out the guys in bunker and pillars and take control. Essentially, it is their way of going around the utility meta a little bit and just using the Ying as the wedge to push themselves in between the holes of the site. Unfortunately, it hasn't had the best success rate. A lot of times when Razor or Giddy, they're usually the 2 people playing the Ying. A lot of times when Razor or Giddy plays the Ying, they kind of just drop to their deaths because of the way Favelas play inside of Harry Potter. They have a lot of good crossfires set up. So hopefully we'll see how Oblation work out or if Razor will be successful with his push.
Yeah.
I'm reloading.
So yeah, I'm waiting to see the successful Yang push because those are always so fun to see. Yeah, Guy in a Bear is going to go ahead and start taking control of tower here. I'm going to go ahead and pick up that drone himself a little bit more as the round progresses. But yeah, I'm the biggest thing I'm waiting for is to see how this Yang is going to be utilized.
Yeah, I'm just kind of biding my time.
I'm
the range of the chuck and the Candelas.
Yeah, because I'm waiting to see if this is going to be more of a scare tactic Ying, or if this is a we're just gonna full send it Ying. Because I've seen both, and
in the past it's been a full send it Ying. It's kind of been a okay, we're gonna Candela down. Hopefully the guy in Harry Potter is blind and we can drop. So we'll see if it works out for Razor. Guy in a Bear slowly making his way down tower stairs. He knows how important this position is to hold, as the Ying drops, he'll be the one responsible for picking up the kills on the rotating players. Smoke canister coming in as well to try and facilitate the E-box hatch, or in fact actually get the wall open from the Hibana. They won't push it just yet. Carnage B takes a lot of damage, and from the tower stairs, or no, sorry, from bunker, it's Giddy with the first kill. So down goes one of those pillar players. That just makes the Ying's job a little bit easier. Here come the Candelas, and here comes the drop. Razor 1, 2, and there's, well, not the third just yet. There's a smoke going down. That'll at least facilitate the push from the rest of the attackers. Bear pushes down. Jolton gets Inrio. Lucchino down on the floor is finally finished off for Giddy's second. Pred, in fact, making a rotate for DS Lucas inside of Freezer just so he can peek out into the long hallway and get a crossfire with his team. Giddy very low on HP, but they have taken control of Pillar. They have a whole 33 seconds left to try and make this happen. Vivid with the diffuse carrier. There is only one C4 on the side of the defense, but as I say that, he'll get downed along with Jolton. It's all DS Lucas. He'll be able to use the stim pistol to revive Jolton. He's looking for the angle on the mirror, but he has no time. He has to try and stop the assault. Colton is finished off, so there goes that pickup. He's got the pistol out. You don't want to shoot your buddy who's down. Vivid getting the plant down. Way too much time being wasted by DS Lucas with that stim pistol. They'll forfeit the plant. Pred at least gets one on the Giddy, but he's very lit, and Guy Bear will finish him off. And there's Razor with the final frag. Oblation with round number 7 as the Ying push works out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are one singular round from Oblation taking this right here, right now. You know, this is almost exactly the opposite of what we saw from Playday 1. We saw a very, very close match on map 1 with the Favelas pulling out on top at the very end. Map 2, we saw Favelas just run over Oblation. We're seeing the exact opposite now. Very close match with Oblation coming out on top. And map 2, they're up 6-1. We might be done with this after 8 rounds.
Yeah, it's only 3:46 p.m.
Yeah.
Well, Eastern. This stream started at noon. So we got some pretty quick matches.
Yeah. I mean, they have been Oblation is not let off the gas. I mean, that was one of the things is that Favelas on Consulate were able to really put the brakes on Oblation after their first half. They were able to say, hey, nah, we're not gonna let you run away with this. We could do this. We could still put in some work here. And they did. They absolutely did. But Oblation was able to still come out on top. Here, the Favelas have just not had any way of slowing down or stopping Oblation once. The only time that they did was when they were down a player because Inrio crashed.
5 seconds to go.
That's it.
Yeah. That's kind of...
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Right now, I'm kind of interested to see how Favelas are going to adjust to the Ying push from Razor. Honestly, at that point, you know, maybe even take a Warden. Because with how much emphasis they're putting on the smokes as well, Warden would be the perfect counter. He has a shield, too. It's pretty useful sometimes, very specific cases. I'm here to see. I don't really know why they're bringing the Kaid. Because Inrio has just opened the hatch with Maverick every time. So that's how you work around the Kaid. Pred's mirror window. I mean, the entire point of the Ying is that you don't have to deal with the mirror windows because you just smoke and flash them off. I don't know if maybe their positioning is different. I mean, they are bringing a Maestro, which is different, right? Instead, they had the Doc. So we'll see. Maybe the Maestro is the change they need.
I will say, though, that Doc came in very, very clutch, though, towards the end. I mean, he was able to revive Pred, and he was able to get a kill there. I mean, yeah, not able to win the round, but that Doc was actually pretty useful. So, I mean, yeah, maybe overall utility-wise, the Maestro is a ready change they need to sort of add to maybe a flash immune source of intelligence, but even so, if Oblation allowed to do the same thing, then it's going to be curtains here for Favelas, and Giddy here coming very, very close to taking out Carnage, and Impact gonna hit right next to him, take about half of his HP, a third of his HP away, and it's gonna force him into that corner there. And I'm not sure he really has much of a way out, especially if the drop comes out here from Meeting Room. It looks like they're actually waiting to get rid of Carnage before they make this drop.
Yeah, they don't want to push Bunker too early. They've got 3 people all the way in Bunker, in fact. Kino is already down on the floor, so the smoke is pretty much irrecoverable with the way he's positioned, and there's no Doc to stem him from apart either, so Kino's kind of done. DS Lucas, though, will get the frag on Guy and a Bear, so first kill finally going the way of the Favelas. It's been 2 rounds since that's happened, but here come the smokes, here comes the Candelas. There's Razor with the finisher onto the smoke, but he's very lit up himself, and it's still an even 4v4. Despite the flashes and despite the cover of the smoke, they have not been able to force themselves into the site like they did in the previous round. 35 seconds left, and it's even man count. Here's the drop from Inrio to try and challenge Long, but there is an Evil Eye that can stare at all the players inside a pillar. This intel could potentially be the change that Favelas needs. Inrio, there you go. You can cut through the wall, buddy. So he'll get the angle inside the single panel into supply, but still things are winding down. Favelas can easily lock this out with such low time. Carnage B gets one on the Vivid. That's shutting down the primary planter. Razor has the diffuser. He'll try to go for it. It's up to the attackers to try and lock off these players inside of Freezer. They all line up. There's one for Inrio, one for Giddy. Pred will deny the plant, and it's out of time as Giddy finds another kill. So close, but Pred's C4 being the deciding factor, saving it in his pocket, unlike the round prior, and that'll gift Favelas their second round.
Once again, the coach coming in clutch last second to go ahead and win to win the round for the Favelas. I mean, we saw the same thing happen round 1 on Consulate. He swung it just the perfect time, ran out the clock as the diffuser was almost done being planted. I mean, his timing is impeccable, but we'll have to see if that's enough to pull the Favelas away from the brink, because right now, they still have a mountain to climb, and now they are teetering on the edge of falling off. Yeah. One slip up, and it's over for them, an Oblation of 1-0. They have to basically play this perfectly from here on out if they want to chance it overtime.
That's unlucky, especially considering the fact that like 3 people lined up in laundry. Like 3 of them. They lined up for Giddy. But the Mira just tanked it. Pred tanked it. If Giddy just landed those headshots and got, even if he just kills Pred, then he denies the C4. There's still a guy covering Razor. That could have been the round. Unfortunately, the Mira with the tank, she just had to C4 up the cabinet. Way too much time wasted by Oblation in bunker before the Ying rush finally came down. Still 6-2. Still 4 rounds that Favelas have to win in a row to prevent Oblation from taking it 2-0.
Yeah.
Try it on dorms. They've got plenty of utility burn. They've got Goyo, they've got Smoke, they've got Malusi, they've got Jaeger, so a lot of their stock is going to be invested in building Attic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking a lot of this is going to come down to C-Force from Pred and Carnage, and the time delay from... Okay, never mind, not the C4 from Carnage, as he's going to get shut down by Vivid almost immediately inside of Armory, but the time delay that's going to come from Kino and Jolton. Those Banshees can be very, very oppressive, and they really, really need to play around them if they want to take out Oblation. Because we saw last time, the longer that Oblation has to wait before they can make their execute, the more disorganized it'll be, the less time they'll have to really get themselves really situated with it. So if they can just burn as much time as they can and force Oblation into a last-second push that's not very organized, not with a lot of setup behind it, then I definitely think it could go the way of the Favelas, but they have to waste as much time as possible. And I think they also probably need to take down. They really need to take down the Ying here if they want to get this started their way.
Yeah, especially the fact that at this level of play, a Ying execute like that takes a lot of team coordination, and having to do that in the dying seconds of the round will cause a lot of chaos. So Oblation, though, still hold the man advantage, as unfortunately for the Favelas, they have not been able to get the refrag following Diaz Lucas's death. Kino will take a little bit of damage rotating through, and the Maverick just stands in front of that C4, and Inrio will actually nade Vivid because he was holding onto the nade as he died, and Vivid walked into it. A bit of a TK martyrdom there from Inrio, and it's now a 3 versus 4. The round has been turned on its head thanks to just a series of unfortunate events. Razor has taken in an Attic, though, so he has that control and he has the crossfire into sight, but the rest of his teammates that have to push with him are being delayed by the gas canister of Kino. They don't have enough hard breach to try and open Games Wall either, because both hard breaches are dead. Here comes the Candelas from Razor, sending them in, trying to lock off these players inside the site and inside their currently held positions. But again, the gas canister delaying. Jolton with one, another crossfire there for Jolton, and it's all up to Guy and a Bear in a 1 versus 4. 12 seconds left. This is nigh impossible. He'll get one headshot, but the prone peek from the Jaeger Actually, no, Jolton. All the way back towards Big Storms with the pistol. Who finds the final frag and another round for the Favelas.
Yeah, and I mean, that falls into what I was saying. I mean, they had to waste as much time as possible, and that's exactly what they did. They wasted time, and it worked perfectly.
That was unfortunate.
Oh, yeah, no, the martyrdom right there was absolutely unfortunate. I think that's also been very recently added as well. Because I don't remember it being a thing.
No, yeah, if you're like cooking something, or like even like an impact and you die, you just drop it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredibly unfortunate, because I think he was, from the way the kill feed looked, Inrio was milliseconds away from throwing it when he died, and Vivid just did not have enough time to react to it.
Yeah, that was that was unfortunate. That was pretty funny. Martyrdom, throw back to Modern Warfare. Jolton! What? I Jolton just got shot by the shotgun of Kino trying to make the rotate, so that's early damage on the Malusi, I guess. Here's the struggle for the Favelas right now. They have to play the offsite. They have won 2 in a row. Now they play the tertiary. They'll go on to meeting and kitchen. If Oblation want, to take advantage of their best chance to win right now, it's gonna have to come on this site. It is the offsite. Of course, you kind of play for a top floor roam, but if you're a coordinated enough team, you can shut it down. And as the defense trying to deny a stage plant, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. So we'll see if Oblation can take advantage of the site selection when they go for the top floor clear. Of course, they are still bringing the Ying, and Inrio will swap off the Maverick onto the Ace, and Inrio with the AK-12. I'm interested to see how this goes.
Now, here's something interesting I just noticed. They have no reinforcements in Attic currently. All their reinforcements are based on stage. No, they have no reinforcements in Attic. It looked like, I may be mistaken, but it looked like the main wall of Attic was completely soft. Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for a rotate. Oh, this isn't... We don't see a lot of people play T3 anymore.
Yeah, no, they have someone playing T3, they have someone playing T2, they have someone playing all the way down at the bottom, just by the door there. I mean, they're holding Big Tower about as hard as they can.
I wonder if Oblation might be a little bit confused by this setup, as not a lot of teams have to take into Big Tower. It's kind of fallen out of the meta. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe it's just the changes to the map, just people don't like doing it anymore, but we'll see. DS Lucas currently upstairs with 2 ADSs, trying to hold onto the windows as best he can. Oblation can't quickly figure out how to try and take this. This could be another round for the mounted comeback, but as I say that, Giddy with the first kill. Carnage B unfortunately swings around and he gets his head ripped off, and that's the smoke dead. DS Lucas does get a refrag on the Razor, so the main pushing force for Oblation, the Ying, will no longer be available to them.
Yeah, and already we're going to see the swing come out. Wow, he gets that? I'm sorry, what? DS Lucas with absolutely an insane headshot from outside of the window onto Vivid. That is absolutely unfortunate, and now you have almost nothing to deal with DS Lucas up here. I mean, you see the one impact come out there from Giddy to try and take care of him. Does quite a bit of damage, but not enough to finish him off just yet. And from the stairs, Giddy's going to be downed as well. DS Lucas, a triple kill, not even left the 3rd floor here. Kino's going to find Inrio. The ace going to be denied there from DS Lucas, but Guy on a Bear, the only one left here in a 1v4, SMG-11 in hand. Does quite a bit of damage to Kino, but there is still so much that he has to go through if he wants to win this round. 42 seconds left on the clock. That round was single-handedly won by DS Lucas. It looks like Guy on a Bear is just going to sit back in this corner and say, "Hey, let's figure things out," because or he might be going for a kitchen push instead. But it's going to be difficult, as they are sitting and waiting. There are 3 people waiting for him to push this with 14 seconds left. He gets a kill on the one on Jolton, but again, 1v3. Okay, he's going to get a second one, waiting for the 3rd one to peek. Nade comes out, but the smoke canister is there. Nade comes in, looks like it's caught by the ADS there. It is not, actually, but the Banshee is actually going to get him killed there. Kino coming with the 2nd kill on the round. Favelas taking round number 10. DS Lucas, what a man. Sitting up on T3, did not move an inch, did not give up his position once, and kill 3 people, winning that round single-handedly for the Favelas.
Yeah, that is Oblation just had no clue how to deal with that. It's so far out of the meta. It's been so far pushed out of the meta at this point that I don't think a lot of people practice T3 takes anymore. And Oblation just looked way caught off guard. I mean, they took out one guy supporting. They couldn't actually take the guy out of Big Tower, and they just kept challenging over and over and over again. Instead of rotating over towards dining and trying to go for a kitchen push, they just kept trying to take out DS Lucas, and it didn't work. DS Lucas had big 3 kills. So, Oblation's starting to slip a little bit. Favelas have had 3 in a row of their own. This is the site that Oblation were able to win the first time. Favelas, on their second try, were able to take it. And Oblation have to try and flip the script back in their favor. Otherwise, if Favelas take this round, I think we see OT.
I have to agree with you there. I mean, honestly, I have to agree with you on that. I think we definitely see OT if it comes down to it like this. I mean,
5 seconds to insertion.
Oblation are really... They're struggling. I mean, they've given up. I mean, it's just little things are compounding. I mean, they left DS Lucas up in the top of Big Tower up at T3 to just do what he wanted with almost no contention. He just had one person peek him after one person peek him after one person peek him. He got 3 kills, and he was alive at the end of the round. I mean, that should not have happened in any world.
Yeah. That's unfortunate for Oblation, and they'll have to take on to Basement. Of course, they are still bringing the Ying that they have hard stuck pretty much this entire time. Kino playing in Harry Potter. There's a shield inside a pillar as well. Just try and provide a little bit of cover over towards E-Box. Getting very, very wary of perhaps a aggressive play from Favelas. And here's Indrio opening up the hatch, but no! As he tries to open up the hatch, he's actually downed by the Kaid! That's a great play from Jolton. A lot of early damage onto the Maverick now, and Indrio is going to have to play a lot more conservatively.
Yeah, and that was also without the C4. That was just him shooting through the holes there, so he's still got a C4 he can toss up as soon as that hatch is open, and potentially get a double kill here if he times it right. There's Kino there, looking to hold down Harry Potter nice and tight, but just getting droned out here is not much he can really do. Sitting down here, looks like they'll go ahead and have gotten the hatch open, it looks like. So now I think they just have to get this push coming out from Giddy and potentially push Carnage off of Blue Bunker.
Yeah, Carnage again is playing in a very similar position to what he did last time. There's only 1:15 left. Oblation has spent about 2 minutes just clearing upstairs, opening the hatch, doing whatever. Giddy does not check for the ADS despite droning it. Unless he'll lose one of his impacts. Now he's got to choose barbed wire or the shield inside a pillar. Which does he want to take out? That's an unfortunate bit of lapse of judgment from Giddy. Instead, he will allocate it to whatever utility was over there inside the connector. So far, a standstill from both these teams. It's still 5 versus 5, and we're going into the final 45 seconds. It looks like Razor wants to try and ying in. He's going to lock off anyone inside a bunker from getting the crossfires. Unfortunately, our clean feed will start to refresh. Kind of Bear taking a little bit of damage. I imagine the rush will come in soon. Here's the Candelas coming out, flashing everyone inside the pillar. The Maestro likely full blind. Carnage B taking some damage well. Here's the drop from Giddy. He finds the man in the corner. It's actually Razor with that kill. 4 versus 5. Oblation taking advantage, but there's where the ying push stops. There's 25 seconds left, and still it's only a one-man disadvantage for the Favelas. They can still lock this out. 20 seconds left. Who's got the diffuser? It's Vivid. He's currently right outside the door. Indrio making the holes, but Carnage B will fall to them. He tries to aggressively push. A lot of team damage done to Vivid by Razor, but Vivid will still persist. There's barely any time. There's still a C4 on the side of Fred, but Jolton will go down to the tight angle from Giddy. DS Lucas can't make anything happen just yet with his Alda either, but Giddy will find Jolton. It's a 5 versus 2. Fred inside of Freezer. He does a little bit of damage, but he's knocked off the board as DS Lucas falls inside the site. Oblation take a flawless last round to finish up Oregon, and for the first time, Oblation will finally take their revenge against the Favelas.
Yeah, I mean, that was, we'll say, towards the end there, the Favelas really started putting up a fight, but I mean, that last round, I think the stars just aligned for that Ying push there, and everything just fell right into place. Guy on a Bear doing great work, as well as Giddy. Every single member of Oblation really putting in some good work today. I'm still reeling from that DS Lucas play up inside of T3. I mean, first of all right, first death, it's fine. You don't know he's up there. Second kill, you're sitting directly below the window. You know he's up there.
I didn't think the rappel player thought that angle would be
He was,
acceptable to
yeah.
DS Lucas.
I think that's exactly what I thought as well. The third player, Giddy, was just standing on the stairs in plain view of all of T3.
Yeah.
And I'm still just in shock. I mean, again, hats off to DS Lucas for an amazing. I mean, hats off to all these players. I mean, yeah, Oblation won. Favelas put up an amazing fight. I mean, we're talking about a DS Lucas play, and they just lost 7-4. I mean, that's the thing is, despite the fact that they lost, I mean, two pretty close matches, these teams put up an incredible fight. And as I said very early on, actually just before the game, I felt like this was going to be one of the most entertaining matches that we were going to see. I have to stand by that statement. That was incredible to watch. I mean, just really
fun one.
Yeah. I mean, despite a couple of mishaps here and there, I mean, it was still really fun to watch, really fun to cast. We're waiting on right now to hear if we're going to get an interview from Oblation, and we will actually be getting Giddy.
Oh, we get to talk to Giddy?
Yes, we do. And so that will be once we get everything set up with him, we will have Crow. We'll be asking him a few questions. So do not go anywhere. We're actually no. Stay right here for just a second. We're actually going to take a look at the bracket now and see what Oblation winning entails. I actually almost forgot about that. But but yeah, so now that Oblation have won, they have taken third place in their group, which means they will be playing the last dance.
Oblation takes second in their group, and they'll be playing for third.
My mistake.
Against the last dance.
Yeah, my
And
mistake.
the Favelas will be playing against Ape.
Yes.
Yeah, they will be playing against Ape for the 5th place game. At that point, it's really just prize money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, money's money. The more you can get, the better. And again, Rent Free and Beast Coast will play next week. That's when we have all the winners and losers. I think actually we're doing all the rest of the games. I think there's 4 games a day again next week. So congrats to the Oblations. They finally get their revenge story. That last round too. That last round was pretty insane. I am very surprised they were able to take that flawlessly. This time the Maverick from Inrio, he was able to open the angle in time. Giddy got a frag through there. They locked off the entire long hallway. No C4 from Pred to deny the plant that time. So 7-4. It was still pretty close. You know, a whole 23 round series in a 2-0. That's just one away from going max regulation on both maps. So we are trying to get apparently Giddy disappeared. We're trying to prep him for the interview. We're trying to get him back. I'm definitely gonna ask him about the mirror window.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely something to ask about.
Just makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think about it. I don't get it. I'm sure there's some perfectly logical explanation for it.
Yeah,
Will give us.
Yeah.
We definitely also ask him about how they prep for this, especially with the Favelas.
Oh yeah,
taking it every previous time. I hope Giddy has a webcam, because I know last time when Vivid did the interview, I don't think Vivid had a webcam. Apparently, we are still waiting for Giddy. I think our producer thinks his internet may have hiccuped up. But I know we do have games tomorrow too. We have the Canadian CL games, the decider matches for there. So I'm sure you've heard on Twitter by now. So we will have Oceanus versus Windstorm. We would have the rematch between Deslats and Honor, but unfortunately, Deslats have forfeited the rest of their games this stage due to Raffi leaving the team, as well as Gio benching himself for personal reasons. So Fettuccine, their coach, just told us that they're just going to be forfeiting the rest of their games, so they have more time to try people out and get their team situated and hopefully be back for next stage. So that'll be at the same time. It'll be 12 p.m. EST. And next week we have PDHM versus Team Oblivion going head to head in the final. Team Oblivion being one of the final teams last stage, losing out to Honor in the finals, and then PDHM actually being I think sixth place. This is kind of the story of the underdogs so far this stage, right? PDHM go from sixth to first in their sixth overall to first in their group.
Yeah,
Beast Coast went from seventh place to first in their group. That is a Cinderella story if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, absolutely it is. I mean, honestly, same thing with PDHM. They were just a very middle of the pack team. I mean, no one really expected much from them going into the stage, and they came out of the gate swinging. I mean, absolutely swinging, and I mean, they beat Honor second round. I mean, that's the thing is they beat Honor second round, knocked them down to losers, and I mean, they did a very, very good job of coming into the stage with a lot of good to show, and they definitely showed it. And yeah, I mean, speaking as well to Beast Coast, I mean, going from seventh to now one of the top teams with a potential for playing in the relegation matches in December. That's huge. It's absolutely huge.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Oblation and the Favelas will not have a chance to contend for those, but they will next season. They're still in. They're not sent down to relegations, not like Joe Esports or what is it called, or Bracket Blessed will. I'm actually really surprised. I didn't expect Joe to be down in relegations. That's unfortunate. I really like their team. Unfortunately, they could not make it happen this stage.
Yeah.
We're still waiting to see if Giddy is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think while we're waiting though, I think we'll see if maybe we could potentially throw it to a break while we get everything sorted out here between us and Giddy, and we will hopefully have this interview for you here shortly. But until then, yeah, we'll get confirmation from our producer here in a second. But yeah, until then, I mean, it's just this entire stage has been a kind of almost a flip flop of what we saw last stage. I mean, a lot of the top teams have sort of fallen from grace, so to say, and have lost their top positions. I mean, they've really, and they've allowed teams that were in the middle of the pack that were down towards relegation. They had the motivation, they had the drive, they had the want to place higher, and they have. I mean, PDHM and Beast Coast have really, really showed that they want it and they're willing to go for it. And I'm definitely proud that I got to cast those games, and I get to. I've gotten to see their rise from where they were, almost like a phoenix being born anew.
Yeah. I don't know if Carpe wants to send us to a break or not, because we still don't really know what the situation is.
Yeah.
With Giddy. Oh, we are getting someone. Who are we getting? I don't know who we're getting. We'll be getting Razor.
Ah.
Okay, so it's not gonna be Giddy. It's not gonna be Inrio. It's not gonna be Vivid. We're gonna talk to Razor. Hopefully, Razor can answer your question. Of course, if you don't know who Razor is, he actually competed in season 11 under Team Reckless before he left the team, and then he immediately hopped on with Oblation, and they have been a very dominant force. Or they were a dominant force in T3, and then qualified for T2 pretty much immediately. The first go around. So they've been a pretty damn good team. I know I think they actually all played Xbox together.
Yeah.
I think even Razor did. So they are Xbox crossovers, having a lot more luck than Spiker did. When Spiker first came into CL. But yeah, they've been doing very well for themselves. I still don't know how long we're gonna have to keep talking, because I hate doing this. This is painful.
Yeah.
Carpe is just repeatedly apologizing in our ears.
Oh, SMH.
Well, we're gonna throw to a break because
Mhm.
I don't want to talk anymore.
Yeah.
I hate doing this. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll have an interview soon. I don't know. But stick around.
We'll definitely
Come
be
back
back
after
to
the break.
yeah, we'll definitely be back to give you guys an update one way or the other. So yeah, don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the short break.
Yep. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties, we had to keep swapping around our interviewees, but we're actually here with Inrio. Inrio, how are you doing? I'm doing good too. It's been a while since we talked. It's been what was the last time? ESA, I think. So, you've certainly made a name for yourself in T2. You are the uh, highest rated player on the team. I think you're like eighth highest rated in all of CL right now. Um, so for some reason, stream can't hear you. So we're trying to see if our producer can fix the audio issue. For now, I guess I'll ask you a question and relay your answer maybe. So first of all, weirdest thing I noticed when you guys play Oregon and you play downstairs, why do you put a mirror on the outside of the E-box wall looking in? Okay. Unfortunately, you guys can't hear Inrio, so I will relay his answer. He said he doesn't really know, but he assumes it's just in case anyone drops E-box, the guy Tarps can see him earlier and stuff, and just a little bit more coverage. So you guys picking Consulate. I know Consulate is a map that I haven't really seen you guys on all too often. Is that a bit of a sleeper map for you guys? Or did you feel comfortable bringing them to it because Favelas had to choose between either Consulate and Theme Park, both maps that they had to get slammed on? Hmm. Oh. Okay, so Inrio tells me that they are very comfortable on Consulate, and they just haven't been playing it because everyone bans it out. In fact, they actually beat Rent Free on it in the very first play day of Stage 1, so this is their only second time playing it. So you guys definitely had a really good performance on Consulate, 7-5. And you guys, of course, both teams kind of avoiding Console, and then map 2, when you guys banned Ash Valkyrie, was that really just to hard counter Kino? Hmm. Okay, so Inrio says that Ash is a hard counter for Kino. Valkyrie is more for them in general, as the Favelas do love their Valkyrie. But yeah, there were a lot of rounds where, especially on Consulate, where Kino was really like the only reason they were able to win around, able to get like a big 3K on the roam or whatever. Now I noticed there were a couple rounds where one of you, especially like Razor, would just kind of rat out in a corner. Was that specifically to deal with Kino? Like, was Kino a targeted player for you? Hmm. Okay, so yeah, that is actually what they were playing for. They were playing for the target on Kino because yeah, I was saying that too. I was like, so far the round trend has been shut down Kino early. You guys are able to take it. And going into Oregon, do you expect to take Oregon as dominantly as you did? Because of course, both times you played against Favelas, this is your first win against the Favelas, and this is your first win against the Favelas on Oregon as well. Okay, so Ariel tells me, of course, with a Thatcher ban, defense is very comfortable. And at that point, they only really needed to win 2 rounds to win the whole game. And of course, a fantastic performance from you, especially Giddy on map 1 as well. That's all we have time for. Of course, Inrio, congratulations on your first victory over Favelas. You get second place in your group, and you get to play. I believe you play the Last Dance actually. So how are you feeling going into? How are you feeling going into that game? All right, cool. So of course he is very confident. So, Inrio, thank you very much for coming and talking to me again. It's been far too long. Is there anything you guys want to say to the fans and your supporters? Yeah. So, Inrio, of course, thanking all of the supporters, everyone that stuck with them, especially after they lost their first game. And they gotta wait another 6 months, but it ain't over. So, Inrio, thank you very much. Congrats on your win. Have a very good rest of your day. All right. So, that was a little bit of an unorthodox interview. The first time I've had to relay
Yeah.
everything due to a bit of a sound issue. But if we want to, right before we cut off the stream, if we want to just take a look at the bracket again, look at how everything rounded out during this stage. Of course, in Group B, Rent Free taking first, Oblation now beating Favelas to take second, Favelas falling to third, and unfortunately, Bracket Blessed heading down to relegation, going not even taking a single map. So an unfortunate performance for them, but we'll see if they survive relegation and if they bounce back even harder next stage.
Yeah. And if we want to go ahead and yeah, that'll be it for us tonight. Thank you all so much for watching. We've had some really great games today, and make sure to tune in tomorrow at noon for
EST.
our noon EST, 9 a.m. PST for our last Canadian Challenger League game before our final placement matches 2 weeks from now. Thank you all for watching. I've been Loaf, joined by Crow. Have a wonderful night.